Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We are having a great show talking monsters tonight with the Cryptid Gee and the Cryptid Geette. Yeah, Christian MacLeod and Christina will be here momentarily. But first, let us say hello to each and every one of you, because that's what we like to do around here, including T-Bone in the gold medal position, Eternity Eternal with a silver, Kitty Cattywhack taking home the bronze medal tonight. Mel WD-40 is here lubing us up for tonight's show, because Christian cannot talk monsters unless he's nice and lubed. If he's not lubed, I tell you, it gets a little ugly. It really, really does get a little bit ugly. You can't make it up. Look at that sour face. But that's the way we do it around here. So thank you, Mel, for the lube. All right, Lil Cam on YouTube kicking off the super chat tonight. The super chat is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show and on a nightly basis. So thank you, Lil Cam. I really appreciate it. Shane Gord, how are you? Thank you for coming on in. Robert Lamont, Thunderhead is here. Thunderhead will be signing autographs after the show. Line up to the left of the studio, if you don't mind, to the left of the studio. Lisa Smith, thank you for coming on in. Digi Addict, how are you? And Frankie B. and Integrationing, thank you for coming on in. Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, nice to see you. Road Flare, Flubber Lane, and Divine Diamond is here. Divine will be signing autographs after the show as well. Line up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind, to the right of the studio. Be a little gentle. It's her first time, and she doesn't want to mess up a signature for you. So just don't, the line will get through. She will not stop until everybody is signed. So just be patient, people. Skip to Malou, good morning to you as we continue on with our roll call. Undead Jed and Millennium, my man. How you doing? JSCO, J Truth, nice to have you both here as we continue on with our roll call. Missouri Man, thank you for coming on in. Benno, nice to have you here. Paula Foss, nice to see you. And who is next? Well, let's take a little look here. Let's just scroll it down. Well, it's Luscious Jules, everybody. Look who it is. Luscious Jules. There she is. Larry Bonds, the home run king. How you doing, buddy? As we continue to scroll on roll call. Contrary One, Necessary Dialogue. Nice to have you both here. Hi there, Kathy Evans. And who else is here? You know, Divine, you have to take your autograph signing a little bit more serious than an LMAO. That's an LMFAO, if I ever deserved one. Thank you. Please be better. Please be better. Moving on down. Who is next? I don't know. Who's next? I think we're... Oh, there he is. Number 3 in your program tonight, starting at center ice from Stockholm, Sweden. Lars Jansson. There he is. Werewolf, how are you? Jerence Carter has arrived, everybody. Jerence Carter. Good to have you here. Oh, God, what a day. What a day. If you're a Canucks fan, Yeah, I'm an Oilers fan, but my number 2 team is the Vancouver Canucks. It's a painful day. It really is a painful day. Hello and welcome to the radio and podcast side of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott, and we are preparing to talk some cryptids, monsters, and legends with the Cryptid Gee and the Cryptid Geette. Yeah, Christian MacLeod and Christina are going to be here momentarily, so let's warm up for them. Why? Well, because we just like them. They are from the American Cryptid and Paranormal Society, based out of Asheville, North Carolina. And we are in roll call on our YouTube side right now. Digger Dog, how are you? Nice to have you coming on in. Walter Kochabinski, thank you for joining us. And I think we're caught up. Super Chat is open. It is a wonderful way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. And don't forget, you can shop at our Spaced Out Radio store. Why? We do not have ugly swag, people. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. Yeah. Let's get ready to go. We're coming live in like 15 seconds. Afterwards, I will be on with Walter M. Sterling on WABC right after this show. So make sure you check it on out. Horns up. Let's rock.
Are you ready to hear your mystic voice of the night?
It's time to wake up.
He's here. Shush. Be quiet. He's ready for you to listen. Let's point our ears towards the little cabin knows. We're together, my friends. It's time for Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott.
From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblebee. Read the Newswire. Check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Tonight's show is brought to you by Caribou Con. Come up to the heart of British Columbia in 108 Mile Ranch for Caribou Con, September 18th through 20th. Tickets on sale now at cariboucon.com. We have an amazing show tonight as the cryptid guy, Christian MacLeod, and Christina, his valuable partner, will be here to talk monsters. They were recently out at Bray Road in Wisconsin. We'll talk to them about that and so much more. Then in hour number 3, Swamp Dweller will join us for another spooky story. We'll follow that up with Robin Haynes sticking around for the cryptid report. Likely and luckily, I'm going to say there's about a 99.4% chance that Christian and Christina will stick around with Robin as well. So let's get right to it, because I love these guys. I really do. Christian MacLeod is the Director and Lead Investigator of A.C.A.P.S, the American Cryptid and Paranormal Society, as he brings more than 25 years of experience. You know, this bio was actually written in about 1996, so it's probably about 35 years experience now, researching cryptids, paranormal activity, UFOs, and anything unexplained. Both Christian and Christina's work spans a wide range of subjects, from the occult to UFOs, forbidden archaeology, secret societies, and everything in between. Christian has a strong passion for studying and preserving Native American culture, folklore, and legends, recognizing the important role in understanding many of the mysteries that we all love to explore. Let's bring him on in. Christian MacLeod, Christina, it is always good to have you on Spaced Out with me for the first time. How are you?
Oh, great, man. Thanks for having us.
Love seeing that picture.
Yes.
You guys recently were at Bray Road in Wisconsin. And for people who may not know what the historic value of Bray Road in Wisconsin is. Let us know about that, Christian.
Well, I'm glad you asked that. Christine's prepared a little summarization for you, and then I'm going to go into two of the cases that we were very interested in because they haven't really been discussed much.
Sure.
Well, the Beast of Bray Road is either reported as a werewolf or a dogman. In our belief, it's dogman, and Linda Godfrey's research showed it to most likely be a dogman. Linda Godfrey got active in investigating that when she was assigned the story in 1991 by the Walworth County Week newspaper she worked for. She got so into it that she ended up taking lots and lots of reports on it, sightings, and got so famous for doing it, she wrote about 10 books on the subject. So she did it up until her death. Before that, the first sighting that's really noted in her books and stuff is at the St. Coletta School by a night watchman right there in Elkhorn County, Wisconsin. The school was in the Bray Road area on what used the extension that used to be called Bray Road. It is no longer part of Bray Road today. It's called Route NN, the letters NN, but it's an extension of the same road. And the sightings increased sharply in the 1980s and 1990s, and that's what got mostly people driving down the road at night, going back and forth from a night job or back to their home or their farm, would see it. Usually it was hunting or had caught something, was eating it when they saw it. Nobody was attacked during this time. It was always sightings that they would see it, it would see them, and it would make its escape. And Linda Godfrey got involved. More and more people came forward with their sightings. It became more acceptable, I guess, to report what they saw. And the sightings went crazy on it. So we wanted to see what was going on there.
Well, there was a report we heard about that had very little fanfare, and that was, I think, 83. And someone had called us and left us a message saying that, that there's more to this than meets the eye. They've been up there, their whole family, all their families have been up there 4 or 5 generations. There's this one particular farmhouse where things really happened. And since that time, what has happened now is that all that farmland has become a
Housing development.
Housing development. It's all been, built up.
Sort of a cookie cutter.
Yeah, it's just, and we were doing our research in there, but the one particular, I guess you call it valley or base of operations where all these things were being seen the most, just had not been touched. It was about a mile away from the last house in the woods, and it's just very, very dense, very, very dense woods back. But what's been going on?
There's been flooding.
They've had flooding in the last couple of weeks to the point where anything that's not plowed to farm in, it looks like a swamp. It almost looks like the Everglades. It was just 6-7 inches of stagnant water everywhere. And it was almost impossible to walk through. We tried walking through some of it. It was just, you were almost ankle deep in the first step, and then
we would have needed waders to get back into it.
It was pretty bad. So we scoped that area. But the story that really introduced us or reintroduced us to this area, because I actually had a file on Bray Road probably from 1999 that we looked into a little bit years and years ago. Back when it was on, it was really big on Coast to Coast, and we checked into some of that stuff. But the Bray Road is very interesting because it's an original road, and it was actually called Trunk Road, and it got the name Bray Road from a family that moved there. They householded it in the 1850s, and in 1863 they vanished. So they homesteaded. And in 1863, they vanished. And when they went to look at their house, The door had been ripped off the hinges, and there was claw marks all over the front entrance.
And there was prepared food
Yeah.
served in dishes on the table, and nobody.
And this goes back to
could be seen.
1863. And this is where the name Bray Road comes. It was from that family. That family just vanished. To this day, they still don't know what they happened to them. The sheriff at the time said they probably just abandoned the property. And that was the excuse given.
And who ripped the door off the hinges?
But that's never addressed. And it's never addressed. In Walworth County, and that's where this is in Wisconsin, they get reports, and they seem to double every about 12 to 15 years. They'll start having more and more sightings. Why that is, we don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's something lunar. Maybe it's something with the time frame. Maybe they migrate. We just don't know. There have been reports about a lot of underground activity with these entities, these creatures, and that I could totally see. If you see the way that land is up there, the way the farmland has been cut into the woods and into the wilderness, but yet there's still these huge tracts of woods left in between them, kind of like barriers. It would not surprise me in the slightest bit. But in 1891, Gerhard Moore lost 14 of his cattle. And when we heard these names, we wanted to do a little research to make sure this stuff was all, these names were like official. So we went to the graveyard.
We found almost every name in those reports.
Every name that was listed in any of these reports that we've had since 1863, even up till 1897, that was another part of Gerhard Moore's family. All of them, they all have family crypts there. They're all right there. So unless someone went and did like some crazy research and just started writing all these names down and
chose names in the graveyard or something, that's legit.
But it's all like it's sequential. It's like, okay, so this happened here, but then this person died, and then boom, this relative saw it. But they're buried next to each other. It's just really strange, but it's all sequential. And then you had Callum Breslin. He was killed in 1907, and he was working with livestock, and he worked for a guy named Reinhardt. Reinhardt was one of the original big property owners out there, and we found their graves all lined up. And there's a whole lot more to this, but I'm just giving you this basic background because what we wanted to do is we wanted to look at this a different way. We wanted to look at it just from top down because we had all this information, but how much of it is real? There's when you look at the Bray Road mystery, there's so many stories and things you just can't prove. But we wanted to be able to prove what we were talking about. So one way to do that, of course, is looking at records. But graveyards don't lie. Those names are right there, and it was just fascinating because one of the names I had misspelled, I actually looked and it was the next grave over, and I'm looking at it. I'm like, is this date right? Because these were the dates we were looking for, and lo and behold, it was right there. It was just, I've never seen anything like this while doing an investigation, especially when, it's considered more paranormal or cryptid in the paranormal sense, but very, very interesting. But every 12 to 15 years, it seems that these reports just keep coming back. Another one, 1907, they had 1934. There was a skip, but there was the Stragard family. Again, their grave is listed right in the graveyard. They had missing cattle. The fall of 36, they had activities been going on at night, and cattle were disappearing, and they were seeing big things in the timber. And then 6 farmers in 1936 went out looking for the beast, and only 2 came back, and it was listed as a bear attack. But it's just stuff like this, and again, all those times that correspond, because when you're looking at the names and the dates, they're right there in the graveyard. So I've just never had it line up like that. It's just very, very interesting, very strange. But the one topic that really kind of started me thinking there's something else going on here is in 1936, a guy named Captain Arthur Slade. He was 34. He was in Elkhorn. And he gets there on November 9th, 1936, and they're actually in a military convoy. Now, this story we've never been able to prove as real or unreal or disprove it. It's very strange, but basically what happened is some military guys show up at the farm that is no longer there, that is now a housing project. And basically, they run into a little valley where these things are, and they get killed. And there's only 1 or 2 survivors. And of course, it's completely covered up. But what's weird about this is the same thing happens again in 1983. And that was the one that really fascinated me, because apparently there's people that remember it. We were talking to some people in the town itself, and there was one waitress we had, very nice older woman, been there her whole life.
Nice, Christine.
And I'm gonna tell you something. The people in that town, I've seen some nice people. Let me give an example. We pulled over to take some pictures of the Bray Road sign
during the day.
We had 3 people pull over and ask us if we were all right, if we needed help, and they were genuine. They were like, "Hey guys, you all right? You need a ride? You guys okay?" Blah blah blah. And it was just a guy, Alex.
Yeah,
we told Alex we're going to mention him. Don't know his last name, but Alex just pulled over and is like, he starts talking to us, and we told him what we were doing, and it was funny because Alex didn't know anything about Bray Road. He goes, "What?" He goes, I've heard strange things, but I didn't know it was like to this. And it was just kind of funny how it went down. But there were so many people that are just willing to help us and talk to us. The town itself is awesome. I want to buy property.
Oh, the people were so nice. We would move there in a second. People were so nice.
But when we start talking about 83, there's about 3 soldiers that were killed. And they were never, ever, it was wound up as training accidents. But one of the things that was very interesting is it followed the same pattern as the prior one of 36. And we wanted to really check into that to see if there was actually anything into it. And I really think there was. Like I said, we had a witness that remembers the military being down there. She remembers them being in that area. It was just fascinating.
Well, let me ask you a couple questions here regarding the whole Beast of Bray Road story. And a sidebar, I don't know if you know this, Linda Godfrey, the queen of the cryptids back in the day, God bless her soul, she came on this show one time and she just absolutely adored me. I don't know why, but she just adored me. And she caught on to something I had mentioned that show about one of my black triangle sightings. So about a year and a half later, out of the blue, she calls me and she goes, "Do you mind if I put your black triangle story in my book?" So in her writings, in one of her books, and I never got a copy, her publisher never sent me a copy. I'm still pissed off about that, but is one of my black triangle sightings.
I have that book.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, it's either in this show.
Out here in the hallway.
It's yeah, no, I've got it. I'll even sign
Bring
it.
Bring it up. I'll even autograph it for you with a giant X.
The X said Linda was here,
right?
So,
but getting back to that area, what do the people around there now think about these legends from 1989 and the Beast of Bray Road?
They're very cagey about talking about it.
Depends on who you talk to.
Yeah, there was a lot of people who you could tell knew exactly what you were talking about, except that what they would say was, "Oh, no, that's crazy. There's nothing about that going on." I think a lot of people there that have been there for a while remember the hoopla and all of the press and all of the stuff going on when it was publicized and don't want that to happen again. And they're very cagey about talking about it.
Yeah, there was a woman that owned a farm there. And, she actually asked
Christian because they're just tired of it. They're tired of all of these looky-loos coming around trying to.
I think that's.
I think that's exactly what it is. I think they know what they've got.
Yep. Oh, they definitely know what they've got.
And
when we tell you, what the places look like down at night down that road and how people were, they definitely know about it.
Okay. So let me just ask this regarding that, because there are a lot of people who know things are going on, but they just don't want to talk about it. But others, they don't like the impact that many in the paranormal community or the cryptid community bring with them.
I don't blame them at all. No.
Yeah.
And
there's a lot of people out there in the paranormal community or the cryptid community who are so hell-bent on getting evidence and the story that they don't care what they do to the environment. They don't care what they do to the location or what have you. So maybe that's one of the reasons why.
Oh, also, they don't, I'm just, speaking as I would be, they don't want people coming to try to hunt it down or something like that too. I think if it was publicized too much, there'd be a whole bunch of people going, "Hey, let's go up there and kill a werewolf."
But see, that's happened before. In the '90s when Linda wrote her book, I can't. If people have been there for say 35, 40 years, and it's a generational farm, they know what they're dealing with. They know what they've had to expect at night. I will tell you this, Dave. I'm from a farming community back in Maine, where I'm originally from. It was all farms up there, but I can't remember ever seeing a farm lit up the way these farms were lit up. When I say you could put a Vegas show on half of the cornfields, you really could have. It was that bright, but it was on the older farms, the farms that have been there for a while. It was completely everything it wasn't in the front of the house. It was the back nine, man. Everything was bright.
And it wasn't just on motion sensors.
No, they were on.
Perimeter lights that were bright and on starting at sunset.
Yeah, I mean, they were on.
Plus, people
now,
on the road.
Did you talk to anybody who was still worried about this creature?
The one particular lady I'm thinking of, and we didn't get permission to use her name, but she was once we were very honest about what we were doing there.
Yeah.
And I gave her my card and I introduced us and blah, blah. And her face just went from smile to, not again. And, and I think she goes, well, we don't have that problem anymore. Mm-hmm. And it's like, well, we didn't get you, talk about what we were doing there. We were just introducing ourselves as Cryptid and Paranormal, consulting detectives. We weren't even doing anything as far as like, hey, we're here for Beast of Bray Road. But she just kind of ended it like that. And then she told us that, the streets weren't lit up at night, and it would probably be safest not to park there when it got dark. And that was kind of creepy.
Yeah.
Because the lady was, it's just, if you'd seen it, it was like one of those Stephen King things where, that someone's warning the protagonist, don't be here at night kind of thing. And that's kind of what I got out of it. I thought,
Well, not much was open at night downtown either. We were looking for a place to have dinner the first night, and like nothing was open after 5 or 6. It was.
Sounds like my town.
Well, because we kept looking for, there's been so many movies about Bray Road, and they always start at some little shady bar off the side of Bray Road. Yeah. They really aren't. That's not how it is there.
So, in all, you were really going against the grain. Did you expect that to happen going into that area?
No, and especially not after the first day we were there, when everyone was stopping to see if we were okay on the road. We were really surprised when we went to do the first sort of night walk through there, and cars would blow by you. And we were parked on the side just like we were during the day, but cars would blow by at a very fast speed. No one was even slowing down at night, not stopping, but they weren't even slowing down to yell out the window, "Hey, get off the road," or something.
By 8 o'clock, by 8 o'clock, there was nothing. There was, I think, one car that drove by the hour and a half I walked the road at night. And what we've done is we had problems with batteries at this particular location. That hasn't happened to me since I did the investigation in Bunratty Castle in Ireland. I've never had battery drain. We had battery drained on the cell phones, the walkie-talkies, and on the recorders.
Mm-hmm. And the cameras.
I was just lucky to when we got it back in the car, I just started writing everything down. But the time frame that I'm going to give you this outline, we typed up exactly what happened with their outline, just as we always do on the aspect of here's what happened when we were out there in the field. And that place, honestly, I don't know if it's, I hate saying woo woo because I know how you feel about that.
Hold that thought. Let's carry it over into the second half hour. Stories from Bray Road in Wisconsin, the Cryptid Guy and the Cryptid Guiette from American Cryptid and Paranormal Society. Christian and Christina will be with us for the next half hour. We'll be right back. Just absolutely handsome.
Thank you.
I'm going to get this picture tattooed on me.
I thought you already did. You know where.
I totally should. I totally should. Let us say hello here to Stacy D. How are you? And who else has joined us? Al Goring over on Twitch. So excited for the show tonight that he deadlifted 4 Dogmen 44 times in 4 minutes and 44 seconds.
Damn.
Way to go, Al Goring. Your arms are jacked for tonight. Jack. Aussie Boss Tiger, how are you? I need a haircut. Oh my God. I got mushroom head going on right now.
Hey, man, you have it.
You want some?
No, look, dude. This is about as much as I get. All right, you know, you're doing well. You shouldn't complain.
I know. I'm not complaining. I'm at the point now where I know I need a haircut because it hurts to wear a ball cap.
Yeah. Or you got the whole thing sticking out the side and it looks like you got,
Fap says you're way better looking than that mask Dave is wearing tonight.
Thank you.
Oh man.
Thanks, Fap.
Fap is highly unattractive. He's got a front bum.
I don't know. I was waiting to see more remarks by that one. I figured T-Bone is high. You got Charlton Heston hair.
Oh, that's good.
Philip Blair, how are you?
I saw it.
Stacy D with the comment of the night. Most everyone laughs. My own brother dragged a stake behind his car down Bray Road. However, I've seen some things I hate to admit.
I didn't think of that one.
Dragging a stake?
Yeah, that's actually a pretty good idea. Get me out of the street.
Yes, well, you had to get out of the car and walk them.
It was 235-pound steak walking down the street.
Yep, that was you.
Smoking a cigar. Puppy.
We got about 2 minutes.
Okay. So what I figured to do is we've got the outline of how everything went for our hour and almost 2 hour investigation out there. Me just walking, went from 9:15 to, or I'm sorry, 7:44 to 9:22.
Sure.
Very interesting.
Digger Dog, how are you?
What
are you drinking there, Christina?
Jameson and Coke.
She just sucked down like 4 shots of Jameson like it's nothing.
You made it that strong?
Yeah. I told you to slow down.
What are you trying to do to me?
Well, I told you to slow down and relax. Now we'll get you. Yeah. Now the world knows how you drink.
It was good.
I have a fan here. Divine says Dave looks 10 years younger with the hat on. Thank you. I'm gorgeous. Gorgeous.
Glamorous. It's all about being the glamour.
Gorgeous. I feel like this.
I can see Dave going in for plastic surgery. Can you do this?
Probably.
I want this.
Sounds good. Skip to my Lou. All right. We got about a minute here. Paramarv, how you doing, buddy? Hope you're having a great night, man.
Hey, Puer Marv.
Hey,
Love
Pear
that
Marv.
guy.
Awesome.
Air Marv's good people.
He is good people.
Oh,
Very
Puer
good
Marv,
people.
come on down, buy you a beer.
Paramarv once told me he could count to 10 without stumbling.
Oh, I can't.
25 seconds. Thank you, T-Bone, Benno, and Little Cam for the super chats. Greatly appreciate your love and support of SOR. Fap, thank you for nothing. Just nothing. Your presence is enough. And we're coming back here in 5 seconds.
Oh, he's going to get you later. Come for you.
We go with the second half hour of Spaced Out Radio. Good to have you with us. My name is Dave Scott. We have Christian MacLeod and Christina from American Cryptid and Paranormal Society talking about their latest investigation for Dogman in Wisconsin. But before we bring them back in, we want to say hello to all of you listening in on our terrestrial affiliates and to remind you that you can check out our archives for free, always on YouTube or any major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com, we have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. Christian MacLeod and Christina from American Cryptid and Paranormal Society joining us right now, talking about their latest adventure into the state of Wisconsin, traveling all the way up from North Carolina to go look for the Dogman on Bray Road. The famous story. The beast, was he found? We'll find out here. Welcome back, guys.
Well, thanks for having us back. I'm not hitting the eject button. So, what were we talking about when we went to the show? I know I had a good point about something. It slips me because I'm getting old. When we were talking about these people and not being completely forthwith with all their experiences, I guess we said. What was really interesting though about one part of Bray Road was this. I guess it was owned by one farm.
Yeah.
But what this guy, he had goats, and I had never seen this before. Like I'd seen goat pens, but this guy had put lights like every 6-7 inches on the goat pens all the way around. I mean, we're talking it. There must have been 200 lights there, easy.
Oh, yeah.
But it was completely lit. Like you couldn't approach anything there. In other words, anything that would have approached would have been seen. 50 yards out there. It's just crazy. I've never seen lighting like that out there. So when you look at that and then you know the history, you have to wonder what's still going on out there. So what we decided to do is, we were sitting down in this really nice little cafe in Elkhorn, and we said, you know what, we're just gonna have to come out here at night and just walk Bray Road. And what we decided to do is Christine would drive the car, and we looked at a map, and I got dropped off at Plank Road, and we'd meet at Hospital Road. And that was about a mile and a half?
Yeah.
About a mile and a half down the road, something like that.
Hospital Road was a deserted little side road with woods on both sides.
But Hospital Road had also been the location of 3 or 4 events that had happened. And when you see the way it looks at night, you can totally understand why. And when I say, things were lit up, the only things that were lit up were the farms. There was absolutely no streetlights, absolutely nothing. And what was really kind of cool is the Bray Road had just been repaved or resprayed or something. Yeah. It was just kind of cool because, it was like kind of glistening between the water on the side of the road and all the water that had showed up from the floods and just the color of the road itself. It was like at some point you couldn't tell what was hardtop and what was raw water. and it was just as you're walking, it just looked really kind of cool. But the whole road was like that,
especially in the sunset.
Yeah, and the sunset was really neat. So what we decided to do is at 7:44 was the sunset. So we went to Bray Road and Plank Road, and we checked our radios real quick. We had two-way radios, of course, our phones, and then I had my recorder, the cell phone, and a couple cameras. And we just said, okay, here's what we'll do. I'm gonna get off here. You just drive up and down Bray Road, and I'll meet you at 9 o'clock on Hospital Road. So, this is 7:45, and we figure, that should be enough time for me to get down there. And if anything's going on, we'll either get it on tape or, get some pictures. And it should be, there shouldn't be any issues. And at this point, as I'm looking around, I was thinking how cool the place looked, but I was expecting absolutely zero. I didn't think we were going to get anything because it was just so quiet. You could hear like the birds in the background, and they were far away. And then you could hear the insects, when it started to get that, but, and then maybe some frogs, but it was very, very quiet for the amount of space and the amount of wildlife you'd think would be there making noise. But it wasn't to the point where it was quiet. There's still things happening. But I remember walking off thinking to myself, there's absolutely, this is going to be a waste of time. There's nothing here. In fact, I lit a cigar. I just started smoking I was enjoying smoking my cigar, just walking up and down Bray Road. But this is what we ended up doing. What we did is we put the timeline together from the voice recorder, the phones, and the walkie-talkies going dead. And when I say everything went dead, everything went dead. Battery drain. Like I said, I've only had battery drain one time before, and that was in Bunready Castle in Ireland. Up to then, I didn't believe in it. I thought it was ridiculous. But this is the second time this happened, and it happened on voice recorder with two brand new Duracell batteries in it that were out of the package. Our two-way Midland walkie-talkies. We've been using these things for years. They're bulletproof. They're waterproof. They're shockproof. They were 100% charged, and the cell phone was 100% charged when I got out of the car because I started taking pictures the second we got out. And what I'm trying to do is just basically we pulled the timeline together from when I looked at my watch and the time we know we went in, and then there was a phone call that I made before the phone went completely dead. And so what we did is we just used those as the markers to fill in the best. So by saying this, I'm saying this is as accurate as we could be without having everything time stamped exactly. It shouldn't be 3 or 4 minutes out of whack, but this is how it went down. So at 8:47, the sun was set on Bray Road and Plank Road. I got out of the SUV, I pulled out a cigar and lit it, began to walk. At 8:05, Christina called me on the radio and said she saw something very fast and very big in a tree, and it looked black and gray about 500 yards behind me. Now, that's something you don't want to hear because I'm literally walking the opposite way. She drove this way, and I'm walking this way. So she sees this thing jump out of a tree. Now, you tell them what you saw because this is incredible.
I saw something huge and gray, dark blackish gray in the tree as I was driving by, and I thought, we've only been here a few minutes. The sun just set. I couldn't possibly have seen something. And I get a few more feet, and it's like playing over and over in my mind. Did you see something? Did you really see something? And my mind's telling me you saw something. Just let it go. Don't second guess yourself. You saw something. So I decided to call him on the radio. I'm like, I saw something. It was in the tree. It was jumping down, I think. And, you should be careful. And he was like, well, okay, do you really think? I'm like, yeah, I really think I saw something. And he said, why don't you turn around, drive back and see if that's you definitely. So I did. I turned around, I drove back, and I looked at the trees, and there was absolutely nothing there that I could have mistaken for something. So I'm like, yeah, there was something there, and it's not there anymore. They called him back, and I'm like, yeah, I definitely saw something, and it definitely jumped out of the tree. You need to watch out. And that's when he started to hear something.
Well, yeah. Now,
actually, before that, I think, before I called you back.
Well, now see, the next thing I have down here is 8:15.
Yeah.
So that's about right timeline. So 8:15, I started to hear something pacing me in the water. Now, you guys know, I don't care how big, how quiet, how stealthy, you're gonna make noise when you're stepping in the water. And I heard it. I want to say it was about 45, 50 yards, but I heard every time I stepped, I heard like a light, something hitting the water, something going in the water, something picking up, and just those drips. I'm thinking to myself, I honestly thought it was like a small rodent or something at first. And then I stopped and it stopped. And I sat there and I was puffing on my cigar a little bit. And I started looking around and I took my flashlight out and I didn't really see anything. And then as I was standing there, I realized my cigar had gone back out. I guess I wasn't smoking up. So I lit it up again and I looked around and I didn't see anything. And that was at 8:15. Now at 8:20, I noticed the battery of my phone was draining at an accelerated rate, and my voice recorder indicated that the power was low. The batteries were brand new. Christina had just called me on the two-way to talk about how spooky Hospital Road is. I puffed on the cigar and kept walking up to Hospital Road. And at that point, when I started walking, I felt like I was being watched. You know that feeling you get, like, there's something around here, but it was just getting to the point where it's like, I don't get paranoid. I've been doing this a long time. I mean, this, and just for the fact that there was nothing, no lighting, nothing, and I'm hearing a splash. But it's not a splash. It's like something very silently coming out of the water, but you can hear drips. But when I hear it, when I move my leg, it moves. It's like that kind of thing. Very, very kind of disturbing. And what I thought was, you know what? I'm just I'll save the battery in the two-way. I don't need anything right now. I was more concerned about getting pictures than anything because I just wanted to keep an even pace on where we were going. Now, that was at 8:20. So I keep walking. And then I remembered I'd promised Joshua I'd give him a phone call. So I was looking at my phone. I had like 30% battery. And I'm thinking, okay, well, that's enough for a phone call. I'm not doing FaceTime or anything. Mm-hmm. So I called him and I left him a message. I was telling him what was going on. But the second I got the phone with him, the screen just shut down. Like it just shut down. It's completely. So I was like, oh, great. That's not wonderful. So what I did is I stopped. I looked around. I completely did a 360. Like I walked across the other street. Like I walked across the street. I looked around on that side. Then I came back and I started walking more and more. But I'd stop every 5 to 10 feet. And I was trying to do that, listen, like trying to catch something. At this point, I had been recording. I just left the recorder button on and I was just recording everything like this. And then, of course,
it dies.
Flashed, it dies. And again, this is very aggravating to me because I go to great lengths to make sure the equipment's in perfect condition. I mean, because if we think something's wrong with it, we'll go buy new stuff. Because I'm not putting her life on the line. That's not going to happen, especially if it's over a piece of equipment. Yeah, that's just ridiculous. But it just started to get real ominous. And at that point, it was like it was dark enough where, like, when I was smoking my cigar, I could see the light from the ash. You know what I mean, or light from the red part, the heat of the smoking part. And it was just kind of weird because it was putting like a hue around me. But I just kept walking. Like I said, I was thinking to myself, all right, we'll be at Hospital Road in 15, 20 minutes. Not a big deal. And that's what I just kept doing. I kept walking. At that point in time, I looked at my watch, and it was either 8:50 or 8:52. But I tried to contact Christina via the two-way radio, and the batteries were completely dead. I couldn't hear anything. I was starting to hear a noise from my right side about 40, 50 yards away, and it wasn't a normal noise. It sounded like you have dogs, right?
Yeah.
You know how when you walk a dog on the pavement, you get that click, 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 click?
Yes.
I was hearing that. And I thought, what the hell is that? I mean, because I couldn't see anything. And of course, I stopped and I waited and I looked around and I was just kind of doing that thing. So I want to hear it again. The second I moved, I heard it was like another click and then like almost a splash. So I'm guessing whatever's there was like it had one leg in the water. It was definitely bipedal. Whatever had one leg in the water and had one leg on the pavement. And that was a little disconcerting because I was starting to get that, Charmin moment feeling you get because you don't know what the hell that is. And again, I can't get in touch with Christina, and I've still got to walk up to Hospital Road, and I'm not exactly sure how far that is because I've never walked this area. We drove it a few times, but I'm not exactly how far away I am. And there's no houses. There's nothing here on this side of me but plowed field, and there's nothing on this side of me but plowed field. And then in between these plowed fields, there's like these streaks of land that are underwater. It does. It looks like a huge swamp. So at this point, I'm like, okay, there's no, my biggest concern is there's nowhere to run. There's like, I don't think jumping up a tree is going to help me out. So I was getting a little bit nervous at that because I just couldn't see what it was. I mean, it could have been, it could have been anything, but whatever it was had, definitely had claws on it. And it's on my claws. And the type of, the other thing that kind of got me a little really concerned was when I stopped, I heard like a, but it wasn't like a, it was more like a grunt a dog would make. Like if it was like, I don't know, I pick my dog up all the time and like give him a noogie and he kind of gets aggravated and he'll make this noise. But if you amplified that by like 100, it kind of reminded me of that. It was like, it's like something was getting ticked off. That's all it sounded like to me. But again, at this point I wasn't freaking out because I'm like, okay, I'm almost there. This isn't too bad. And where I was walking, I continued to walk. The whole field on my right-hand side and on my left-hand side was completely blank. It was just ready to be plowed.
Do me a favor, Christian, for people who've never been in that situation where you're either having a situation with wildlife or you're having a situation with a cryptid, what is going through your mind at this point? How are you feeling? How much on guard are you?
Oh, your demeanor's completely changed. You're at this point, anything's going to say. I mean, I've always keep telling myself, don't run, because your first gut instinct is to run, but the second you do that, you trigger the predator, behavior, blah blah blah. But it's just one of those things where it's terrifying because you don't know what it is, and then you're hearing all the stories about how many people have disappeared, and how they never found them, and it all kind of goes through. But then there's that one part you're like, look, man, you've been doing this for dang close to 28 years. This is nothing new. This is stop being a sissy. And then but it all kind of goes through your head. But when you get that tingling in the back of your neck, and it's like you kind of goosebumps. I don't know, man. It's just I don't like the thought process that it comes with, because you're just thinking, oh crap, here it is. What's this? And it's an adrenaline rush, but there's also a fear. I mean, anyway, people can say what I want, but we're hardwired to be scared, and that's why you have fight or flight. But it takes a lot not to run or freak out. Let's just put it that way. It's if I said terrifying, it is terrifying. I'm not gonna sit here and pretend I'm Indiana Jones and nothing scares me. That's ridiculous because you don't know what the hell's behind you. And you're hearing these noises, and you know what these noises are, and it's not from a small animal, it's not from some 30-pound Boston Terrier, it's something much bigger. And I always thought it was a bear. I really did. I thought it was a bear at first, but then you realize, wait a minute, there's no bears there, so what else could it be? And you start to do these little checkups in your head. But it all happens instantaneously, and then you get that adrenaline rush, and then you kind of get in, the nerves and everything. So the best thing to do is you just kind of breathe and just keep walking, and that's what I was doing. But I'd be a liar if I said I wasn't scared. I mean, because
I get that. I would be, and I've had similar feelings out at Flight 21.
Yeah,
like when we started going back out there a week and a half ago, we got bluff charged. In the distance, we got bluff charged. We didn't know what it was, couldn't see it. Blocked by trees. It's up on a knoll about 50, 60 yards from us, but we could hear the bluff charge happen. And it gave us an intelligent response back, because I literally, after the bluff charge, I went, hello, hey, we're over here. Where are you? Can you tell us where you are? And then like a horse, like within 10, 15 seconds, just like that. Now, I don't know if it was a horse, because there are wild horses in the area, but there has been no markings of the wild horses. I don't know whether it was a moose. I don't know whether it was a Sasquatch. I don't know. But I do know that when the forest goes silent and strange sounds start coming about, that it is time to be on alert. So I know exactly that feeling you were having here.
Oh yeah, because it's not you know, and the other thing is you gotta look at, you're alone. Like, it's just you. And that's, you know, and there's nothing around. I didn't know if Christine had gone down the hospital drive and was waiting for me halfway down. I didn't know if she was behind me. I mean, there was no communication, and and again, the fact of the lighting, you're just getting the lighting off of all these big farms. That's just kind of, you're getting that light pollution, but it's not real clear. And then half, you know, 100, 200 feet this way, it's all swamp and mud and water and trees, but it's thick. You can't see through them. And then, of course, you know how it's like looking at something in the dark, and then if something's darker and it's moving under there, you know, I thought I was seeing that too, but then I didn't want to think to myself, okay, you're getting pareidoia. Just, you know, you gotta calm down and just keep going, and you know, finish this up. And that's pretty much what I did. And again, you know, I tried calling Christine, and the radio was dead again. So we just kept walking, and by 8:55, I heard another splash. This one was not a loud one, but it did. This one sounded more tactical than anything. It sounded like it had 1 foot going up and 1 foot going down at the same time. It was very strange, but it was uneven terrain, and I'm just convinced it was something just trying to keep quiet. At first thought, you know, when I heard that one, I'm thinking, okay, there's something big behind me, and I'm thinking potential predator, and then I'm thinking, only thing could be is, you know, again, in my mind, it could be a bear. I'm not worried about a bunch of coyotes. I'm not worried about wolves. You know, I'm not really worried about that. They don't have any wolves in that area because they slaughtered them all about 100 years ago. There are coyotes allegedly in that area, and someone was telling me that there's a chance it could be a black panther. There's several people that mentioned that.
Mountain lions were sighted in Minnesota, that they had been extinct there for a long time. They'd seen kittens recently, so there have been mountain cougars in the area.
Yeah, but this guy told me point blank that there was black panthers out there, like he had seen them. And I thought, okay, that's a little weird, but you know. And then of course, I'd rather deal with that than an angry dog man. I'm not really worried about that, you know. But that noise, it was just so weird to hear the stepping. It was like the same time it was a click and a splash, and a click and a splash. And at this point, it didn't really care whether it was making a lot of noise. That's what I was kind of thinking. I'm like, at this point, it's less worried about anything. So at that point, I saw where Hospital Road breaks off to the right, and I'm like, okay,
Right.
I just keep walking. And at 8:59, I look over, and this is probably 30 yards in, maybe 40 yards in. I look over, and just as I'm looking, I probably about 6 or 7.5 feet up, I see these two balls of light. They kind of look like two balls of light, but they blinked. And at that point, I was like, oh, this ain't good, because that was really high up. It kind of stayed there, and then it just went down and kind of vanished back into the tree line. And that was at 8:59. And I still heard the pacing noises, but the road was completely empty. There was no lights in sight, no engine noises. And at that point, most of the background noises, the frogs and the bugs, etc., had stopped. So at that point in time, it was completely quiet. All I could hear was me puffing on my cigar, and the only light coming up was from the cherry on the cigar. And I had just seen that, and I was like, this ain't good. This ain't good. And the whole time I'm walking, I'm like, where's that woman? Where's she? She said, "Is her here? Why is she not here?" So I'm going to that, and about 9:05, I was walking, and it was still completely dry. And there's a far off farm, and it was illuminated by this huge spotlight. It had it like almost up to where the weather vane was. I mean, this thing was, I don't know how bright that thing must have been. That was just unbelievably bright. But it was giving off all this light pollution. You could see kind of a lot. And about 100 yards to my right, I noticed a figure moving in the woods. And the only reason why I saw that is because it was darker than the trees and the scrub and everything else. So I actually saw something moving in the woods. Now at this point, it was down low. I'm thinking to myself, that could be a farm dog. It could be a cat. It could have been anything. I don't know. But I kept going. And then the silhouette was a lot darker than the trees and stuff around. It was a lot darker now that I think about it. But I heard the sound of the footsteps in the stagnant water. It kept moving. And then I just stopped, and I stared at this. I just kept staring at that area, and I just stopped. And while I'm stopped,
I need you to hold that thought, because unfortunately we are going to break. And when we come back from the break, Christian, one of the things that I want to know is, did whatever that was pacing you, did it sound like it was on 2 legs or 4 legs? Because it does make a big difference in the sound. When you're in nature, you got to learn your sounds. You have to know what animals sound like and what non-animals sound like. From A.C.A.P.S, Christian MacLeod and Christina, they're with us for another hour on Spaced Out Radio. The Beast of Bray Road continues. This is Spaced Out Radio with host Dave Scott. All right, guys, we got 5 minutes here.
Our merch is Bigfoot approved. We have t-shirts, we have mugs, we have hoodies, we have socks, we have hats, we have stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can buy Spaced Out Radio merch and look the part? Our merch ain't ugly, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Lurking within the forested region of the 108-mile ranch, where the worlds of the normal and paranormal collide. CaribouCon is waiting for you, bringing together a panel of renowned experts in the paranormal, cryptid research, and UFO phenomena fields. Get ready for a spine-tingling weekend in the heart of British Columbia. Enjoy fascinating discussions, presentations, tours of local haunted areas, and skywatching. Learn from investigators, authors, and enthusiasts who explore everything from ghost hunting techniques to sightings of Sasquatch and beyond. Whether you're a seasoned paranormal researcher or just love a good spooky story, this is your chance to connect with fellow enthusiasts in one of BC's most mysterious areas. Tickets are on sale now. Grab yours before they're gone. Visit cariboucon.com for details, tickets, and updates.
Are you ready to dive into the weird and wonderful world of cryptids, cartoons, and chaos? Meet Dirty Filth, Spaced Out Radio's resident cartoonist and master of the mysterious. Every Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, join him live on the Spaced Out Radio YouTube channel for Cryptid Cartoons with Dirty Filth, a hilarious hour where he sketches bizarre beasts, shares mind-bending stories, and battles his mischievous cats. Whether you're a UFO enthusiast, paranormal fan, or just love quirky art, Dirty Filth filters the universe through his unique lens, creating cartoons that capture the strange, dark, and supernatural. Follow Dirty Filth on X at Filth1 or Facebook at Dear Filth for more filthy fun. Find his link in the description below.
Spaced Out Radio wants to hear from you. We love our community, and your voice truly matters. Drop a comment after every show and let us know what you thought. Agree with our guests? Tell us why. Disagree? We want to hear that too. We read every single comment. Jump into the live chat during the broadcast and be part of the conversation in real time. Got a killer topic idea? Your suggestions help shape the show. And if you want to take it even further, join our Patreon for bonus content and direct feedback opportunities with Dave and the team. This is your show as much as it is ours. Whether you're a longtime listener or brand new, we want your thoughts, your questions, and your ideas. and let's keep building this incredible community together. Spaced Out Radio, where the conversation never ends. What are you waiting for? We're listening.
With 5 explorable Gold Rush-era buildings said to be home to spirits of a time forgotten, the 108-mile heritage site in the heart of BC's Caribou region offers a unique opportunity for thrill seekers and history buffs. For an evening of historical fun, step into our guided ghost tours, where spine-chilling stories of Gold Rush legends and unexplained encounters come alive. For those craving even more, inquire with us about conducting a hands-on paranormal investigation of your own. And if you're truly brave, book our haunted sleepovers. Spend the night at our B&B inside the McNeil House to truly experience this historical landmark and its ghostly secrets firsthand. For booking or inquiries, go to haunted108.com.
All right, we are back. Christina's rushing. She's like, I don't want to miss this. I don't want to miss this. Thank you to T-Bone, Benno, and Lil Cam for the super chats tonight. We greatly appreciate it. T-Bone, thank you for gifting a membership as well to our Space Travelers Club. And let's see, what else do we have here? Laura Campbell, welcome to SOR Chat. And we're good. We're caught up. Here we go. We are into hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you very much for tuning us in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network, our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Margantomancy. Margantomancy is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Now, let's bring in Christian MacLeod, Christina. They are both part of A.C.A.P.S, American Cryptid and Paranormal Society. They join us each and every month for a wonderful, wonderful show on the monsters they are hunting. And this time, they just got back from a trip from Wisconsin going after the legendary beast of Bray Road. Christian, right before the break, you were telling us a story about being stalked, and you heard this creature go into the water, and it was kind of walking parallel with you. Could you tell whether or not it was on 2 legs or 4?
Bipedal. It had to have been. But then, as I'm walking on to Hospital Road, and I told you it looked like eye shine, and it went down. I think it started going on. I think it started doing a quadruped because it was down low, and then like it vanished. And as I'm continuing to walk, I look up and I literally see Christina. Well, I wasn't sure if it was Christina, but I saw 2 headlights that were about maybe a mile away, and I looked over again, and I noticed that it had been, whatever it was back on, because it was a lot taller, about 7 foot in the air, and its eyes were focused on me again because I could see him blink. I just started staring at the thing, and I think we probably just staring at each other for maybe 15 seconds, maybe if that. It felt like it was a long time, and at that point, I was very, very happy to see Christina because it was coming in, like I could see it moving. And at that point, it had to be bipedal because you could see kind of doing that. You could see like just the way the head was moving, frontwards, back, just the boom, boom, boom. And it had to be bipedal, whatever it was. But I will say this, right before she stopped, I did hear a growl. And that again almost gave me a Charmin moment. But by the time that happened, Christine just pulled up right. I got around in front of the car, got in, and I said, okay, it's time to go. And I was kind of telling her what was going on. And I was pointing over there. Now, I don't know if, did you see what I was talking about?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
When I was first on Hospital Road against orders, I got out and took some pictures and some video because my cell phone was plugged into the car and was working. And I know I caught a howl in the distance down there. Then after I picked him up, I went back. The reason I wasn't there is I went back to take pictures of the tree where I'd seen the thing, and it definitely was too big to be a bear. I've seen the comments over here. It was definitely too big to be a bear. There's no black bears as big as what I had seen in the tree. When I came back and picked him up, we drove down the Hospital Road a little bit, and when we finally saw farms down there, we saw the lights, everywhere, like it had been, and they were horses, and they were like grouped together, that like they were hugging each other by the neck. They did not want to be an inch away from each other, and they were huddling close to the building.
Yeah, and that's when so you just left me to take pictures.
You've seen the pictures.
That's how it is, Dave. She's going for the pictures, didn't no.
Well, I thought you would have called me on the radio. I had no
idea. The radio
idea.
That wasn't working?
I had no idea it wasn't working.
Does Christina get jealous of Christian having these long, soulful staring eyes? I'm sorry, Dave. I just read that.
I know. We're looking at this situation where you're starting to get a little scared. Were you panicking?
I was a lot scared. I'm not gonna lie. I was a lot scared at that point. When I saw it moving over, it's just hard to explain. I'll email you the pictures of the way the land looked, because again, 100 yards away, you've got this section of trees and bush and scrub brush, and it's like dividing up all these fields. But then it's nothing but fields. So there's nothing in front. It's all been plowed. It's all ready to till. It's all ready to plant. And there's just nothing there but, air and space. I mean, it's it. Air and opportunity. That's all that's there. It could have done anything. And then when I heard that growl, that was really the one that got me, because
how did it differ? How did the growl differ from, say, a Sasquatch?
It was definitely like it was an amped up dog growl. It wasn't that. It wasn't anything like that. It was a growl. It was you hear a dog just growling,
but much deeper.
Yeah, but much deeper. I mean, the lung capacity must have been huge on this thing, because it was just there was bass in it. It was bass. You could feel bass. It almost like hit you. That was definitely time to get in the car.
Sorry, A.C.A.P.S.
She gets chills.
Wow, that's pretty incredible with what you were hearing and feeling at that time. Now, Christina, you had no idea this was going on. I mean,
no.
At what point did you feel it was time to try and find Christian?
I guess after I took the pictures, I picked up the radio, and when I couldn't hear anything, I was like, oh, I better get down there.
Just take pictures for an insurance company.
I thought that he would have. I had no idea that the radio wasn't working, or that his phone wasn't working, because mine was plugged into so I thought he would have called me or after I hadn't heard from him for a little while, it was like, okay, I better, get back down there.
I was a little worried something happened to her. Because I didn't see her. I saw that thing, and then I was like, well, if it's over here and maybe she parked over the side or something, I was actually starting to kind of get a little freaked out, because I was more worried about her than me at that point, because these things can open up doors. I mean, if it want to rip the door handle, you can rip the door off. If it wants you, it's going to get you. And that's what I was getting really worried about. And then, like I said, I saw the headlights just pop up out of nowhere, and I was like, ugh. But it was not. It was terrifying. But I would definitely do it again, just with more equipment, and definitely more people. This is definitely a bigger job than two people. It's you're gonna need at least 4 or 5.
Tiny.
Yeah, definitely.
Very chilling tales indeed. How long were you out there for?
From about 7:30 to about 9:22.
So it happened relatively quickly.
Yeah.
Like I said, right when Christina on the phone, the first time you hear her on the call, like that part we have recorded. You can hear her say, "Hey, I just saw something." All right, you can hear that. That's when I was like, all right, and I'm thinking, okay, well, maybe it's Paradora, maybe she saw a bird or something. You never know what you're gonna. And then
he told me, go back and look, see where you saw it.
Go back and see if it's still there, and if you do, take pictures of it, put it on video. And she went back and did that, and it wasn't. And about 5 minutes after that's when I started hearing that side pacing. So that would have been enough time to cover that kind of distance in my head. That's what I was thinking. But yeah, again, until you see it, it wasn't bad till I saw the eye shine. And I knew it was eye shine because I've seen that a million times. You do this long enough, you're going to see that. But it was just it was creepy. It was very creepy. That was the word I was using the whole time I was down there. And it was one of those things where you weren't expecting. Something could have jumped out, and it wouldn't have surprised me. It was like one of those. Could have been anything. Zombie, Bigfoot, Dogman, anything. I was just on edge. That's just the honest truth. I wasn't sure what to expect. And then when I turned down there and didn't see her, I kind of really freaked out.
So when you get out of that situation, okay, what do you do? What do you do to debrief and to kind of calm your own nerves?
Honestly, I wrote everything down because Christine was driving. Yeah. I wrote everything down. I mean, these are my original notes. I mean, like right here. And I rode down the car. We went back to Kenosha, and honestly, I got a couple drinks.
Yeah, we both did.
I was
pulled out your flask.
Yeah, I wasn't going to mention that.
Oh, sorry.
That's right. But it was one of those things. I was expecting nothing, and then when you have something happen, and then you have eye shine, and then when you see, how high up it is, and I'm about 6 foot. I'm having to look up like this. That's not good. And then you can hear it moving in. You can hear the dirt move. You can hear the footsteps. But you're also hearing the footsteps. You're also seeing it. It doesn't move like us. It doesn't move like us. Like the head kind of moves like Bigfoot. You know how Bigfoot has that glide, and it doesn't. The head really on Bigfoot. If you ever watch Bigfoot move, you ever see a video, their heads don't move. They just kind of stay. They've got this glide they've kind of got, and it was kind of like this. The only thing that was happening is like you could see the eyes kind of just like 2 or 3 centimeters kind of doing that when it was moving. But it was definitely one of the top 5 times I was scared doing this, that I wasn't sure how it was going to end. And like I said, my biggest concern was something happened to her, because when I didn't see the car there, that's when I was like,
Well, see, he wasn't letting on to me that he was scared at all. And maybe I missed most of that part. But when I came back from Hospital Road, he was just walking and smoking his cigar, and he looked fine. And so I went to take him a couple pictures of the tree, and it was like no big deal. He was not letting on to me at all that anything was scary to him or creepy. I knew it looked creepy. It really, really looked spooky and creepy, all of it. But I had no idea he was that spooked at all, or I would have been like right there driving alongside or something. I had no.
I have a good poker face.
He was really good at not scaring me.
Well, like I said, because when Dave, you've done this a million times, and for the listeners, when you work with a group of people, you're not worried about yourself. You're worried about your people. So when you're supposed to, like when you're, your better half is supposed, your wife pretty much is supposed to be waiting there, and she's not. And then you're starting to rewind all the stuff you've heard and seen, and all the other stuff that's happened, and all the other 28 years of stuff that's happened. and you're always waiting for that one shoe to drop where you can't bounce back or something's happening, and then you get terrified because you'd rather have something happen to you than something happen to your wife or your loved ones, you know. And then it was all kind of like that too. It was all I was more concerned about her at that point. But I'll be, when I saw the eyes shine the second time, that's when I was really wishing I had taken my car.
Yeah, I really don't blame you. Putting yourself in those type of situations, a lot of people out there would be thinking, what the hell are you doing? Why are you doing that?
I'm not too bright. Well, here's the way I was looking at this. And again, you guys have to take this. I'm used to doing this kind of stuff like in the deep forest, just like you know, where the radios don't work anyway. There's no cell phones. Okay. I expect that kind of certain variable. All right. But when those variables get put up and you're walking down a town road, all right, and this stuff starts happening, and you're looking around, you're like, man, there's nowhere to go here. This isn't supposed to be happening here. This is supposed to happen, you know, in Appalachia when I'm 8 miles in the middle of nowhere. You know, it's getting dark and you're starting to hear stuff and things are being thrown at you. That I can handle. That to me is easier, because when you're on like, and then when you see like you're on a modern road and you can still see like light pollution from other things, you're in the real world at that point. There's nothing supposed to be there. So I was expecting nothing. It was just one of these things. If we found a footprint, I'd been thrilled. But when you heard the pacing and then the click and the clack, you know, and I knew that was nails, but it wasn't like when our dog walks by, he's got that light tap. It was like a 300-pound, 400-pound click, you know, if you had something big like that. So it was just, it's not, well, I'm not brave, I'm stupid. I just want to address that real quick. But it's just, you know, that's kind of sometimes the only way you can get the information. That's you got to go out there and do it. I don't mind being bait. And I really didn't mind being bait on Bray Road because I thought, okay, I'm in a modern setting. I've got a car.
What can really happen?
Exactly. What's going to happen? What I didn't think was going to happen was we were going to have battery drain. And I didn't think, you know, I honestly didn't think I was going to be, you know, for lack of a better word, abandoned.
But it really does go to show that, you know, anything can happen when you're in the field, because this subject of the paranormal has no formula. It just happens. And sometimes it's not the way you want it to happen.
And you're absolutely right. Because again, Dave, had I talked to anyone else 2 hours, 3 hours before we did this, there was absolutely nothing. I wasn't worried about it. My biggest concern was having the right boot socks on. That was it. I want to make sure I had the high boot socks in, so I was wearing my trekking boots. That was it. That was all. I had already gone through equipment the day before. I knew exactly what I was bringing with me. And I was more concerned with my cigar lighter having enough fluid in it. There was absolutely nothing. I was not worried about anything. Because again, I'm thinking to myself, okay, first of all, this area has been played out for almost for a century. I mean, these stories have been going on forever. You got the books, you got the movies, all these stories, blah, blah, blah. And there's really no cover there unless you're, going in between the fields. So it wasn't really. And then the other thing, honestly, Dave, I'm thinking if something really happened, I'd go bang on someone's front door. But that was a mistake because there was.
Yeah. Once we got there, you could tell there was no doing that.
And even if you did,
the perimeter lights up, I think you would have heard a
yeah
before you'd get anywhere.
Yeah, I don't think anyone would have opened up at that point. Or would have said see at 6 a.m. kind of thing. But yeah. It was just it was a stupid situation to put myself in, but on the flip side, it was a cool story because I'm telling you, we will definitely go back out there. I mean, we're not going back out there with less than 5 people, but what we want to do this time is we actually want to talk to. There's a farmer that we did talk to, and he's very close to where that meadow I was talking about earlier. In fact, it touches his land. And the next time we go out there, we're definitely going to be, going right to that. That's because that's definitely where like ground zero and even on the old military stories from 1936, 1932, even up to 1894, they all 1893, it all coincides. That's ground zero for where all the activities happening. So we'll definitely be checking that out. The reason why we honestly didn't do that this time is just because it was inaccessible. It was, when I say swamp, man, it was a swamp. I mean, it was, at some point it was probably a foot of water, and it was stagnant, and Lord knows what the heck's in that, and we just didn't think it was going to be a big deal.
And neither of us expected to see anything. I mean, we really thought we're just going to scout this out, and we're going at sunset. We're going to stay till dark and see what the place looks like, and that was really it. I mean, we did not expect to see anything or hear anything. I mean, I saw it right after we got there, so it was like, there's no way you could see something this. We just got here, but it was huge.
It was just like I said. We got. I guess we got lucky. I mean, you can say that we got lucky. I mean, it could have been worse. We'll figure out next time. Send Tiny in.
We have 4 minutes to go before we have to go to break at the top. Make that the bottom of the hour. Christian MacLeod and Christina from A.C.A.P.S are talking about their adventures up on the legendary Bray Road in Wisconsin, home of the Dogman. So let us check it on out. Are there Sasquatch sightings in that area too?
Yeah.
Happen, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, there's a place called Bigfoot Beach.
Yeah, Bigfoot Beach that's the name of the beach. If you type it in, Bigfoot Beach, Wisconsin.
It's real close to there.
It's real close to there.
Did you find any Bigfoot signs?
No, and again, where we were, if there were there, it would have been almost impossible to see prints in the soil.
It was too wet.
But not only that, it was also tilled, and what they do is they leave like the corn stalk about 2 or 3 inches up after they plow it, and they just got to shear it down. And I think what they do is they plant over or use that as fertilizer. I'm not sure, but it would have been very hard to see anything out there. It could have been out there, absolutely. Is there? They've got enough livestock out there that even if you just grabbed one thing off of a farm, once a week, twice a week, I don't think people would really even pay much attention to it. They had plenty of there's cattle out there, the goats, horses, the amount of farmland out there. Like I said, just from what we witnessed, I'm sure once the crops get going, it's towards right before harvest time. I am sure there's got to be tons of things out there. Just especially, I think Sasquatch is a little bit more of an opportunistic eater, so they're probably getting all fed on corn probably for a couple months. I mean, it would be easy. There's just so much space out there, and everything is so far apart. There's just distance. Like even when you're driving from Elkhorn to Kenosha, all you're past is farms. And actually, the road. What road was that from Elkhorn to Kenosha?
It was
26. Was it
26?
11?
11, I think.
Anyway, I was either 26 or 11, but it's a 2-lane road, and there is no lights and nothing. Like you could just, as far as I can see, it's just farmland, and it's like I even said to Christina the first time we were out there, I'm like, you could just disappear. No one can see it. You could get Spanish out here. I mean, there's just nothing out there.
The first time we were out there driving from Elkhorn to Kenosha, I think I said I would hate to break down on this road and have to get out. There was no lights. Everything was deserted. The only lights were the perimeter lights on the dairy farms and stuff. I mean, you would be picked off quite easily.
I don't even think that no one would even notice you were gone. No, if I honestly, I can't imagine getting a flat tire out there. Because there's nothing. I mean, we were on the road, I want to say 45 minutes before we saw another car.
Oh, yeah.
And that's when we were coming back into the city area.
Yeah. To Kenosha area.
Yeah, to Kenosha. So it was just completely, empty.
We got under a minute to go here. When do you plan on going back?
I don't know. When do you want to go?
You want to come with us?
We'll bring you.
Probably next year.
Actually, I would like to go back in the fall, just right around harvest season. So whenever they start, that's when I think things are going to be really jumping up there. Everything that's happened, in all the historiography is usually in the fall, early fall. So I think what we'll do is we'll get in touch with that specific gentleman and we spoke about, and we'll bring some gear, some overnight gear, and we'll just set up camp and see what we get in that one specific hotspot. But I'd say probably early October
Yeah.
I don't know what the harvest season. I have to check into that. I honestly don't know what the harvest season is, but we'll definitely be there again. The place again. You'll never find a group of nicer people during the day.
Such nice people.
During the day, it was like at night though. Everyone's we don't know you.
It was like they knew you shouldn't slow down or stop on that road at night. They just,
Yeah.
everybody knew. Nobody wanted to
All right,
talk
guys, I'm going to get you to hold on right there because we are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. Christian MacLeod and Christina. We have until the top of the hour. They from American Cryptid and Paranormal Society. Your questions next. You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. Hillbilly Herb, how are you? Just a quick reminder for you guys. Considering we are on terrestrial radio, if you guys go and make a comment out of the chat room, the radio audience doesn't know what that means.
Oh, sorry.
That's okay. Not a big deal. I just wanted to remind you. Bad, Christina.
Sorry.
Bad. You know what? I'm so pissed off at you. I really want to look at you like this.
It happens a few times in the course of a day.
Bad girl.
Mm-hmm.
What is wrong with you?
Yeah.
Why?
34-inch footprints right there. Jamie Johnson, how are you?
I was just going to say there'd be a whole lot of wildlife for them to eat too.
Oh, yeah.
Richard Bong State Recreation Area right there.
Yeah. I didn't think we were talking about that there's so much wildlife during like the spring and summer in this area.
There were a lot of woods, and there was a big Richard Bong State Recreation Area right there that was huge wooded area that would have probably all kinds of wildlife for hunting and food for Bigfoots and Dogman.
No kidding.
They do a lot of deer hunting up there too.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, it's a very outdoorsy place.
You were packing though, were you not?
Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm a 45.
Okay, good.
Yeah, I checked before we go anywhere. I checked the reciprocity of the concealed weapons permits. So what we had to do is when we were driving through Illinois, I had to take the gun apart, put the bullets in a different place, take the gun apart, lock it up, put it under a lock, and then pack it in a suitcase.
That's what we got to do.
Yeah, well, I mean, I bet you got to obey the law. It is what it is.
Yeah, it was the only state between here and there that had, stricter rules or different rules than North Carolina. So
I get that all too well.
Well, you guys, you have handgun permits there, or you just have rifle permits?
No. Our good friend Justin banned all handguns.
I thought, well, they bounced them out, so isn't someone else coming in and fix it?
The government that he led is still in power. So they're actually trying to tighten it up again. But it's going to court.
Well, I mean, I think they should show a picture of him and Katy Perry, hang out and dance.
No, don't do that. I'm so heartbroken over that. I thought Katy was better than that. She's my crush.
She married Russell.
Aww.
She married Russell. What the hell?
Russell Brand.
She married him. How could you? Come on.
Hey, I thought she smartened up. Obviously she
had a kid with Orlando Bloom. That vanished.
Oh, she likes ugly men.
She likes British men. I think she likes people she can pick on. Or I don't know.
Go shopping together.
Stop that crap chat. I don't know. Like I said,
still heartbroken.
I think Avril Lavigne would have been a better crush.
that yours?
No,
Still heartbroken.
still. I don't know. I don't have one. Not music.
No, you have one. Otherwise,
I like Annette Bianco.
All right, we have 50 seconds. 50 seconds.
I was just reminded my crush was Linda Carter.
That was good. My 80s crush was Heather Thomas.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I had every poster of her in my room.
It was nice. I remember Samantha Fox. I used to think she was hot, too.
Yep. All right. Thank you, Deboruni, T-Bone, Benno, and Lil Cam for the super chats. Really appreciate it. Jeff Papalia, how you doing down in Aussie land? And we got like 10 seconds. Come in our Spaced Out Radio store. We do not have ugly swag. No ugly swag. So make sure you check it on out. Here we go. Into the second half of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in for wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Want to remind all of you that if you miss portions of this show or others, our archives are always free on YouTube or any major podcast network. Let's get straight to Christian MacLeod and Christina from A.C.A.P.S, the American Cryptid and Paranormal Society, hanging on out with us, talking about their encounter at Bray Road in Wisconsin. Yes, 1989. The story was broken by Linda Godfrey, a journalist at the time with the local newspaper, about these werewolf-like creatures being seen along Bray Road in Wisconsin. Whereabouts in Wisconsin is this, to be honest?
Walworth County and
Walworth County.
Elkhorn is the city.
It's 50 miles north of Kenosha. And Kenosha's I've never been to Kenosha before. I love Kenosha, man.
We love Kenosha.
That place was awesome.
Well, we stayed in Kenosha because we couldn't find a good place in Elkhorn that took dogs. And we had ours with us.
Yeah, and the first place we stayed in was more dangerous than the Bray Road incident. So
we were terrified there.
You could see through the lock hole, you know,
the door.
And the door.
Like someone had been looking through into the room. We slept in our hoodies and stuff there.
Yeah, it was not comfortable. It wasn't worth complaining. The guy didn't care.
It was called the Comfort something.
No. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Let's go to Paramarv here. Wandering through the woods of southern Wisconsin at night, did you have some sort of self-defense apparatus?
Yes, I had a HK-45. And foul language.
That would take down something big.
Yeah, I used a 239 grain hydroshocks.
Mm-hmm. And of course, a shot of schnapps on the side, or what?
That was actually Jameson's.
Yeah.
Jameson. Flask, yeah.
T-Bone wants to know, besides the woo, was there any pushback from the town people?
Well, we did ask about something that Linda Godfrey touched on. Remember when Linda Godfrey went and talked to the guy that was in charge of all the fishing game? Mm-hmm. We had his name. I'm not going to give it. We had his name. And we were trying to find his replacement, because we wanted to actually see if we could get some paperwork that said, hey, this is, exactly what happened. And we were told point blank to leave that alone. Yeah. Leave it alone. That happened. In fact, that happened more than twice. So we were told to leave it alone at least 3 times.
Sorry, leave what alone?
We were looking for this guy at the state. We were looking for his replacement at the local level.
The replacement for the guy Linda Godfrey interviewed at the fishing game that had taken a lot of the wildlife or unknown creature reports.
Remember the binders you got handed and
Yes.
you said werewolf on it.
Yep.
We were looking for that guy's replacement,
Mm-hmm.
and we were told just to leave it alone because once I brought up his name, they're like, that was weird.
They knew exactly what we were looking for.
They knew exactly who that was too. They were like, "Oh no, he's not here anymore. I think one lady said he's deceased." And I went, "Well, that's fine. We're just looking for his replacement. Where would we find that?" Because they had changed the name of the agency.
Mm-hmm.
That's a different story. I'll talk to you about that offline too, because we got a weird agency name out there. I'm not going to bring that up, but it was a little weird.
Who told you to leave it alone?
People that were higher up on the food chain than I was, that could take away my civil rights. Let's just put it that way.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It was a little interesting. And then that was kind of like that, and it wasn't scary at the time, but it was definitely letting us know where we fit on the hierarchy, if that makes sense.
I understand.
A couple of yabos coming into town looking for, werewolves.
Okay, let's get to another question here. This one coming from T-Bone again. Were there any lights from above? Any UFO sightings while you were there?
Not that I saw. Did you see?
No, I did not see any.
Is the area known for UFOs?
I've never read anything about
No, I don't believe
UFOs.
so.
I don't think so.
In all of the research I read on the sightings and stuff that Linda Godfrey took, that wasn't mentioned.
Yeah, I wouldn't.
And after seeing it in the trees, I was looking up a lot.
What is it about trees that cryptids like?
They can hide in them.
I think Dogman really like to watch. Really, really like to just sit back and watch.
Well, and your next guest is convinced that that's where they raise the babies is in the trees. That goes for Bigfoot and Dogman. It's like that's the nursery. So that would make sense to me. But I honestly think it's cover. It's it's a way to see what's going on.
It's high ground.
Yeah, it's high ground.
It's a vantage point.
Definitely.
Let's move on to Joe here. Christina, do you get jealous of Christian having these long, soulful staring contests with the cryptids?
Maybe a little, but I'm more jealous that I didn't get to, have the staring contest.
Have you ever seen a Dogman?
I have.
Tell us that story.
When I was a kid, I used to see them all the time in Florida. I used to see there was an abandoned lot behind where we lived, and I used to see them over the fence sometimes, and they just like to hang out and look at you, and nobody believed me that I had seen, and I was talked out of it quite a few times, but I saw it, I drew it, I knew what I'd seen, and I saw it multiple times there, sometimes more than one.
Wow. More than one there.
The area where she was, when she was a little kid, it's very close to Mayaca. Yep. And that's like a hot spot in Florida for that. So, I've investigated that 10 or 12 times.
And there's been plenty of reports. We looked at some videos online that were posted from the same area that I lived in. The same neighborhood, really. Remember that one in Bradenton? Yeah, it was the same area that I lived in. So I saw them quite a few times, both as a child and as a teenager in Florida. They kept coming back. I don't know why.
You think he was following you?
Yes.
The perv.
Why do you think it was following you?
I don't know, but really they just like to hang back and watch. They didn't do anything scary. They didn't do anything. But when I'd see them, I would get this, before I could like visually get a visual of them, I always got this feeling of something's watching me, and this conflicting feeling of fight or flight response. And I know that I shouldn't run at the same time, even though I don't know why I knew that. When I was a little kid, I didn't know that would, that was a predator thing. I just had this all of a sudden conflicted feeling of I want to run away, but I know I shouldn't. and then I'd look around and they'd be there. So I always know when I get that feeling that there's Dogman around.
There's actually been a lot of stories from the area. See, I knew where she lived back then,
We knew each other.
Yeah, there was a lot of stories back in that area about these particular cryptids, and it doesn't surprise me a bit because, like I said, this is the kind of place where it would be a housing development and it's all woods. I mean, it's built up so much more now.
Oh yeah.
Now I don't think but Mayaca is a very, very active area. I mean, it's not too far from where the Mayaca skunk ape picture was taken.
Mm-hmm.
It's not very far from there, especially if you go by the river.
Oh yeah. Well, where I lived as a teenager, when I would see them, it was right on the water there, but in Sarasota Bay. So yeah, there was big woods right next to it.
Very cool. Let's go to Paramarv again. Would you have been disappointed if it was only a Bigfoot?
No.
No.
I would have loved to grab some hair in a picture, but no, I've been paced by Bigfoot several times, and the noise is different. It's a heavier step. It's and they don't have that click. There was nails. There was definitely nails. You could hear that.
And the Dogman growl, you can always tell that growl is definitely unique, and you hear it. It's like, oh my God.
One thing about Dogman and Bigfoot that I have learned is that when they growl, it's not like a bear or a cougar. You hear a bear or a cougar or a big animal. With these cryptids, you actually feel it. Like you could feel the rumbling inside of you. Describe that for us.
It's like the bass at a concert, how you feel the boom. You feel the vibration of it. It's so deep, and you can hear at the same time how huge the lung capacity is to be making the sound.
It's like getting hit with a wall of bass.
Yeah.
Like a wall of speakers at a corn concert, something like that.
Totally.
It's just that thump, and you just feel the whole thing. I actually had this is going to sound gross, but I had a buddy of mine, he had a chest cold, and we got growled at, and about 20 minutes after that, it's like it loosened all that phlegm up because he was just
the vibration.
Yeah, the vibration just loosened everything up. It's just
so crazy.
Yeah, it's just nuts.
It's absolutely crazy. Let's go to Werewolf in our chat room. Do dogmen hunt in packs?
I think they do.
Definitely.
I think they're just like, they have. I think they're a lot more organized than regular wolf packs because I think they're a lot more intelligent. But it's kind of like the raptor. You see that one, but you don't see the two behind you.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they definitely hunt in packs. To me, it would make sense. And even if, like, say they have puppies and things like that, I still think they handle their business like a real wolf pride would. They take care of the elderly, they take care of the little ones, and I'm sure they've got a very good family unit.
Mm-hmm.
It's very well organized, very structured, and that's just my guess. But I would, if someone said they don't hunt in packs, I would not. Then maybe that's a lone wolf, literally. Mm-hmm. Pardon the pun, but it's. I'm sure they work together.
That's similar to the way wolves work, though. I mean, sometimes a wolf who's lost its mate or been somehow rejected by the pack because he tried to be the alpha ends up on his own. That happens in wolf packs too.
It does. It does. And I'm not as familiar with Dogman as I am with Sasquatch. And the one thing about Sasquatch that I've learned over the years is you may see one, but there's two others watching.
Mm-hmm.
You always seem to run in a trifecta.
Well, Robin and I have talked about this, and we had an issue where we were investigating a graveyard not too far from here that it had been lost. It was in like the Appalachians, and we found it. And I called her and I said, we're in this specific place, but I'm seeing, Dogman activity. There was some, scratches pretty high up, and it was the 5 claws, and they're all about an inch deep, about an inch apart, and it was a pretty good swipe. And she was like, oh yeah, there's like 6 of them around you right now. You need to get out of there. So it's stuff like that we've seen stuff like that, but it's always a group. I've never just seen like one. Like when we did a show for the Discovery Channel once, and they refused to air it because it said it was too scary for the audience. Where we were getting growled at here, and here, and it was all coming up on the infrasound, and the infrasound was just going nuts on the digital auto recorder. So it's, you know.
Is that the one where the camera crew ran away?
3 times.
It is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
That is completely creepy when you think about it. I mean, you don't expect to have, you know, if you have one sighting, you don't expect others to be there. You know, like I've seen, like the one time, my first sighting that I had in 2013, there were 2 of them that we saw, and I didn't clue in until a number of years later that when I saw the second one, it walked through where these branches were shaking. And I didn't even put 2 and 2 together that there was at least a third one there that was shaking the branches. Like, you know, when you shake a branch to try and get cherries off a cherry tree or apples, that's what it was doing. I didn't see it. I just saw the branches shaking as this went through. So there had to be a third one there hiding.
Well, and you know, like sometimes, like I said, you know, I think they use them as nurseries sometimes. So I think you might see like a little movement, but then, you know, you go down a little bit, you know, look down a little bit more, and now it's not a little movement, the whole tree's shaking. Or, you know, it's one of those things. You know, you're right. You never know what you're going to get. That's the thing. You don't know what they're doing. You don't know where they're, you know, the specific time of year. Again, I'm still a huge believer that they migrate, but when it comes to, you know, seasons and summers and things like this, you just don't know when they're going to stick around or where they're going to stick around. You know, I think they, you know, if the alpha says, hey, we're going to stay here for the winter, they're going to stay there, you know. If they think there's going to be enough food and water, they're going to stay there. But you just never know. It's like I said, this case, I'm putting this one on the very good investigation side, but it's not done. We're going to continue it.
You have a lot more work there.
Yeah, we have a lot more work because now we're going to bring, you know, next time we're out there, we're going to have a drone. We're going to have the infrareds. You know, we'll set stuff up as far as, like, you know, camera traps and things like that. But I honestly, Dave, again, you know, it's one of these cases where I didn't think we were going to. It was just, I wanted to go to Bray Road. We heard some cool things. We got a few phone calls about it. There was, you know, there's a few issues that we were informed of. And I sat down and talked to Christine and said, you know, how about, you know, let's do it. And, you know, she's like, heck yeah, let's do it. So, I mean, we just did. We just went. So, but again, it wasn't like we were on the heels of anything that was new that we just heard. Right. It was just, this is going off of old reports, and we were hearing that there had been some strange activity out there. And that's definitely what I would call this as high strangeness.
Oh yeah, and it was really supposed to be more of a scouting mission, going to check the place out and see. We had no idea that we were actually going to see something or hear, you know, experience that. We had no idea.
I don't think you can ever plan for it.
Yeah.
Right. You just got to be, you got to be prepared, but you can never really plan for what's going to happen. It's like when we're at Flight 21, every time we are there, it is different. You know, when my videographer, Mike, and I went out a week and a half ago, it was tense out there. It felt that, you know, like, hey, who are you? What are you doing in our territory? Why are you here? Okay. We did everything the same. And when we went back this past weekend, it was very calm. It was like, oh, hey guys, glad you're here. Would you like some biscuits and gravy? Right. I mean, that's literally what it was like. It was extremely peaceful. And, you know, it's weird how you can go back to that same area. Like, you guys may go back in 3 months, 6 months, next year, and it could be completely different than what you know.
That's very possible. Like I said, you never know. You just don't know what you're going to get at any given time of year. I mean, I know people that have specifically gone out in the winter in Appalachia looking to do their Bigfoot research because they don't think anything's going to be there. Like, because they don't want to run into anything. And lo and behold, that's usually when something happens. Yeah. And they're running out of the woods.
Right?
You know,
I mean, that's literally the way it is. It's silly to think, but and that's what I think I really like about this entire phenomena is it's not repeatable. You know, you look at all these scientists who are trying to find patterns and you know, repeatable evidence. That repetition helps build a case, but we don't have that.
Yeah, and I think one of the reasons for that is honestly because these animals are very individualistic. I think it's like I said. I think if you've got an alpha that says, "Hey, I don't feel like walking to Florida this year. We're going to stay here all year round." So when you're out there hunting, grab extra stuff and we'll store it. We don't know that doesn't happen, and these people doing these DNA tests and things like that. That's fine and dandy. But that doesn't really give you any answers to anything. Because even if you have I'm a believer. Christine's a believer. You're a believer. I know these things exist. So like this DNA thing's kind of a waste of time. What I think we should be doing, and this is just me, I think we should be researching these creatures and find out what really makes them tick. What do they need to survive? How many calories do they really need a day? How much water do they need in the course of a day? How much space do they require? And until we get stuff like that, we're not going to really have any idea on how to coexist with them or how to deal with them.
And I love that idea. The problem is you have to find a spot, number one, and you need to literally become one of them.
Oh yeah.
You need money, and you need a trailer. You need to be able to.
You need so much stuff, Dave. I mean, you and I can say that, like, we can sit here and say, but the trailer's the minimum. You need a bunker. You need something that, if you piss these things off, they can't get in, because you have to be safe. So you need some kind of reinforced bunker. You need night sights. You need cameras. You need all kinds of recording equipment. Then you got to pay people. You got to have food. I mean, it's like I see these all these like multimillionaires. What the ex Mrs. Bezos? I can't think of her name. God, I would love to have her email address. But dear Mrs. X Bezos, please give us $2 million for Bigfoot research. Your friend Christian MacLeod. Because that's the only way you're going to get it. I mean, the government knows everything they need to know.
Well, you're forgetting that besides the money and the equipment and stuff to do this, you'd have to be accepted by them to be able to observe the same
I agree, but you're going to have to be there.
Amount of time.
You have to be there. You have to have the ability to go and be there and be accepted. I mean, they'll accept me. I'll throw them donuts, man. They'll love the hell out of me. Krispy Kremes. Bring them some taco sauce Dave likes, man.
Yeah, they might say that guy with
catch me that way.
Donuts looks yummy.
That's fine with me. If that's how I check out, just videotape it. But it's just one of those things. The amount. I mean, think about how much money it would cost to have a staff. The government's the only way you could actually pull that off. The staff, the technology, the equipment, the research. The medical research. You'd have to bioengineer all this stuff. You'd have to do. I mean, what is it? $5,000 every time we send a sample off to get a DNA check. All right, that's.
Yeah, but if you wanted to be one of them for a while, wouldn't you have to leave the tech stuff behind and sort of do the Jane Goodall kind of thing and just become part of the pack?
I don't think so. I think you do it both ways. I think you could set up a gifting area. I mean, you put food up there every day at X amount of time, and day one there's a camera there. They might be a little, auspicious at first, but I think they'll go for it eventually. I mean, it's just about building a relationship. It's just like anything else. My humble opinion. I could be completely wrong. You never know.
No, but that's exactly it. It is about building that relationship. Whether they are going to take you or not, that's another story. I mean, do you want to become the next Albert Ostman? Or do you want to become the next person who there's a Bigfoot story just south of me in one of the national parks, Wells Gray National Park, where allegedly this couple goes camping in the exact same spot every year. And they have this relationship with this Sasquatch that comes by and they give it peanut butter and jam sandwiches. Right? Do you want that type of relationship?
I think we'd have a calendar.
Right? Do me a favor. Tell everybody where they can find American Cryptids and Paranormal.
You get us at American Cryptid and Paranormal Society.com, or the easiest thing to do is get us at CryptidGuide.com. If you follow that link, we would love it and appreciate it if you followed us on social media, specifically X and Instagram, And we also have our 800 number down there. We're very, very easy to get in touch with. In fact, usually after I get off the show with you, I get someone calling me from the show, and they'll say, "Oh, we just want to see if you picked up." So we're waiting.
You never answer my call. That's what sucks. I think you guys are going to stick around for another hour with Robin, so we'll just keep you here. You're not allowed to leave. Hour 3 of the Q&A is next. You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with your host, Dave Scott. All right, guys, we are clear. We're just going to put a video up, and we'll be right back.
Stop now! You're under arrest! Hands up! Don't move!
Don't get caught without your Spaced Out Radio merchandise. We have t-shirts, mugs, hoodies, socks, hats, stickers, and so much more. Whatever you're looking for, we have you covered. Why just be a fan of the paranormal when you can look the part? We don't have ugly merch, folks. Check out the Spaced Out Radio store. Find the link in the description below.
Dirty filth. Dirty filth. Dirty filth.
Object is heading north 045 degrees. It's definitely not a plane. It seems to be tethered to something. Is that a banner, Joe? Caribou Con. Does anyone know what Caribou Con is?
Caribou Con, one of the BC Caribou region's best kept secrets. Until now. Join our panel of renowned paranormal experts for a weekend of fun and intriguing presentations. Go to cariboucon.com to book or inquire now.
Over here. Look at this.
Discover Spaced Out Radio on all your favorite platforms. We're live every single night with the best in UFOs, cryptids, paranormal, and the unexplained. And you can find us on all your favorite platforms. Head over to Instagram for behind the scenes and daily weirdness, TikTok for quick mind-bending clips, Facebook for community discussions, and X for real-time updates and hot takes. Wherever you scroll, Spaced Out Radio is there. So go search Spaced Out Radio on every platform, hit follow, and turn on notifications so you never miss a single episode. The Weird is waiting. See you there.
The McNeil House is one of several buildings at the 108-mile heritage site said to be haunted by spirits of a time long forgotten. But would you stay the night? Along with guided ghost tours and paranormal investigations, Haunted 108 is offering a chance to spend the entire night inside the historic McNeil House by booking one of our B&B style sleepovers, where you can experience the hauntings firsthand, meet the resident ghost cat, and witness unusual activity. If you dare to turn history into a night you'll never forget, book your spot now at haunted108.com. Spots are limited. Will you be brave enough?
All right, we are back. And of course, we got Cryptid Guy and Christina, the lovely and talented Christina. And there she is, Robin Haynes.
Hey, Rob.
There
Hi,
she
guys.
is. Good to see you, Robin. Your hair looks wonderful tonight.
Oh, thank you.
All right, we got about 40 seconds. And Joe, I didn't do anything. But thank you very much. Thank you also to Debaruni, T-Bone, Benno, and Little Cam. We appreciate you. Shop at our Spaced Out Radio store, everybody. Why? Nothing ugly. There's no ugly swag. No ugly swag, people. Here we go. Here we go with hour number 3 of Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. We appreciate you tuning us on in wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on every major podcast network. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the Newswire, check out our swag as well. You can follow us on X at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon in the Space Travelers Club. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is Margantamancy. Margantamancy is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Now, usually we go to Swamp Dweller at this time, but I'm just having too much fun. No offense, Swampy. You're awesome. We'll bring you back tomorrow night. Robin Haynes is here for the Cryptid Q&A.
Robin Haynes walks soft where the tall trees sway. She hears Bigfoot whisper what the wind won't say. Through the veil of the forest where the wild man plays, the Bigfoot psychic talks to Sasquatch every day. Only on Spaced Out Radio's Cryptid Q&A.
Robin Haynes, it is always great to have you back on Spaced Out Radio. How you doing, my beautiful friend?
I'm doing good. It's good to be here. Hi, guys.
Hello.
Hi, good to see you, Robin.
Yeah, good to see you too.
And of course, we have Christian MacLeod and Christina. Christina. No, I'm teasing. From the American Cryptid and Paranormal Society. And Robin. 2 weeks into the Flight 21 Season 2. And I'm telling you, I'm having a good time with this.
It had the best energy the other night when you went out. I loved it.
One of the things that I'm trying to figure out here and maybe you can help me out. And Christian and Christine, I'm curious your opinion. We'll get Robin's first, though.
Of course.
Is 2 weeks in a row we've heard this horse, like, you know how horses kind of they blow out of their nose and they flap their lips like a kind of sound. It happened again this past weekend. Now, I don't know, because there are wild horses in the area. Moose kind of have the same kind of snout as a horse. There's a lot of traces of moose with footprints and droppings in that area. Could it be a moose, or could it be something else, Robin?
It absolutely can be a moose. It can be a horse, but, and I'm just going to put the but in there. You know, Sasquatch can make any noise they want to. And if they're in an area that has a lot of horses or moose, they will pick up that sound. I was out at a spot like 2 years ago, and they have wild horses there. There was not one horse anywhere, and there was this huge bunch of bushes. There was Sasquatch walking all over. I actually got photos of them, and they were making that sound from the bushes. And then pretty soon you would hear one pick it up on the other side of the field. You know, it's like an alert system so that they can let everybody else know that there's somebody there. But then it's just the same thing they do with the owl calls or the bird calls or whatever. It's just another call to let the other ones know. Now, is it possible that it's a moose or a horse? Absolutely. Not everything is a Sasquatch. However, it is just as entirely possible, and considering the amount that were out there with you guys the other day, that it was one of them just letting the other one know that you had been there or that you were there.
It was a little bit interesting, to say the least. And we went deep this time. We went deep in the backwoods and further than I've ever traveled.
That's where the clan goes, is back there. That's where that sandy colored male comes from.
And it's funny because Mike, my videographer, started hearing things right where you were. So you said there is one that is like if we're facing 12 o'clock, it's at about 1:30 behind the crash site. And
that's the white male. That's the bigger white male. And then behind him, just a short distance and off to the right, it would be off to the right if you're looking at him, is the black one.
Okay. So let me tell you how it played out. When we were back there, Mike got the feeling and was hearing things from behind the crash site when we were in that treed area, probably 30, 40, maybe even 45 yards from us. Okay. Couldn't see it. Couldn't see anything, but it was definitely something that was there. When we walked back to our base camp, we started hearing noises beyond the crash site, but in front of it, but to the right. So if we're looking at high noon, this is at about 3 o'clock.
Yeah.
And when we were there, like you could hear the twigs starting to snap.
Yeah. The thing of it is, they're linked into you. So the second you start thinking about going, the second you start talking, or like even when you contact me and say, okay, I'm going out with energy read out there, they are on it. They already know it. Like when you called me and I remote viewed it, when you said, we're on our way out there, they were already there. They were already in position. And that sandy colored male, I am convinced that is the leader of the clan. He's massive. Like he's a big boy. You're talking like 12 and a half feet. Very broad-shouldered, massive muscles. Anyway, he's after the other two get set in, then he comes up from the back every single time. It's like I could traditionally know exactly where they're going to be. So they're waiting. By the time you get there, they're already lined up. They're waiting. They know your energy. They know you. They trust you. They do seem to like Mike. They aren't having any problems with him. So that's a really good thing. It doesn't seem to be like an awkward adjustment period with him. They seem to just kind of be flowing right over with him and being fine with it. But that male was coming up, and once he comes up, you can always see movement in the background, because behind him, way at that back, is where the rest of them are at. But the energy felt so good the other day. Like when you went the week before and you said it was off, it was because all those little people were there, but they weren't in there. That's not where they live anyway. I think they just went in there to hunt, but it had such a good flow and a good feeling to it when you went.
Yeah, it was crazy on week one. Crazy. Yeah. And just waiting to get the videos done up here on so we can get things going. But what we're holding off on right now, just for our audience who's wondering, well, where can we see the videos? We are going to be we're going to be, pardon me, putting together our own Secrets of the Forest YouTube channel. And so once we get that going, that's where we're going to move the old videos over there. We're going to put the new videos over there. So I will let everybody know when Secrets of the Forest YouTube channel is up. That way they can all go hit subscribe and watch old Davey try and, get a little spooked in the forest. That's for sure.
Yeah,
Christian,
it had a great feel.
Christian, just for you, have you ever heard that snorting, ruffling, or Christina, have you heard that in a cryptid area?
I never have. But then again, I've heard
we haven't been in places where there were wild horses.
Yeah.
I mean, that wouldn't be something that they'd mimic in, the places that we've been. We don't really have wild horses here. What we've heard is them mimicking bird sounds a lot. Mostly bird sounds.
Yeah, birds. Maybe, other, maybe a dog, maybe a howl, maybe a wolf,
maybe a
or
little
coyote.
squirrel
Yeah.
sound, but mostly birds. We hear bird sounds that at night that don't really belong, or crickets, that kind of stuff. I think that they replace the sounds. It goes so silent when they're there. I think when they're hunting, maybe they try to. Robin, do they try to replace the sounds that go away in their presence?
The only time I've ever heard them do that is when they were trying to trap something or call it in. Like they did that with the raccoon one time. Now, the place that I lived at in Michigan, I mean, I've lived in several places in Michigan, but the one particular place, they walked around uncloaked all day. Like it was normal. I would not let very many people. There were people that came to my house, but I was very limited on who I would let because of it, because they were not shy. Those were the ones that I was sitting outside with all night. Like, my kids would look outside and, oh, Mom, look there's a Sasquatch going across the front yard, or look there's one of the kids, or, it was very common there. And I had a Shetland pony there, but I didn't have any large horses. There were no large horses in the area, and I would still get the blow from the horse, and I would still hear it now and then. And I'm like, okay, I got it. But the one place I went to a couple years ago was so apparent. Like I'm walking right in front of this huge thing of brush, and the brush went up like about 11 feet. And whatever it was standing directly behind that. And the noise, the horse noise, was taller than the bush. Like there's not a horse that's going to be like that unless you're talking like Clydesdale sizes,
Yeah, they could have it in their memory, they can say, hey, let's, or maybe Dave's right, or maybe you were right too, Robin. Maybe it's an emergency, it's that one specific clan uses one specific noise to alert other people, hey, the short hairless apes are around, keep
it could be a specific signal.
I know the one day that they did it, because I was there for 2 weeks. And the one day I walked out there again, and that noise was specifically meant for me. Like I knew it. It was directed at me. Like, okay, we're standing here. Like you're getting close enough. And I was just like, I know you're there. Just show your little hairy butts off. You're fine. No big deal. And I went about my business. But I tell you what, I was literally 15 feet from where it went off. And I was like, I didn't mind it with the clan that I worked with. Like they would come up, put hands on me or whatever. And that didn't faze me. But I didn't know that clan very well. And that particular one, the visit before, the leader that was so massive, like walked directly up to me. And he had the most powerful energy I think I felt off of any of them, to the point where I had to lean back against the car because he was like 2 foot from me, and the energy was just so, it wasn't bad. He didn't hurt me in any way, shape, or form. I felt nothing but love from them, but it was like a weighted blanket on top of me. I could not move, and I felt like I was going to fall backwards. And I was like, guys, you got to pull it back. Like, 3D body here, can't do it, pull it back. And he did immediately. And so I felt I could still feel it, but it wasn't as severe. But so that one I wasn't as familiar with that group as I am maybe per se now when they did the horse thing. But the head of the horse would have been 10, 12 feet up in the air. So it's like, okay.
Do you think then, in a situation where, like at Flight 21, where they say, Robin, that they can hear us, or they can communicate with us, or telepathically, we're in the middle of the forest. I'm sitting there saying, hello, where are you? Can you show us where you are? Do you want to come say hello? Like, I'm trying to engage that conversation, but never seem to get an answer. So I'm a little confused by you saying that, oh, they know me, they know my voice, they know everything, but yet I don't get any response.
Because it's all done through the collective consciousness. It's all done through energy. It's all done through frequency. They know your frequency. They know your energy. Once you're linked through that collective, you're linked for life. Okay. And within that collective, there is no time and space. Everything is almost like it's right directly next to you at any given time. Now, if they want to speak telepathically, they're going to get in your head. They're going to hear it. They're going to pick it up. A lot of people, and this has been coming into play a lot the last week. Like, I can't even tell you how many conversations I've had with people about this. When you start thinking about them, it goes through the consciousness. They pick up on you. They're very well aware you're picking up on them. It's like if you have somebody that's thinking about you a lot for whatever reason, you'll start thinking about that person a lot. It goes through the consciousness. People don't know how to work the consciousness. And it is what it is. And it connects that way. And that's exactly what they do. So like when you and Mike were talking about getting together and let's go out there, you may not have been trying to reach out to them, but because you were thinking about them, they go through the consciousness and that's how they pick you up. Now, when you get out there and you start talking, what we know is most of them, and I say most because I do have a couple that I can go physically there and they'll speak, but they're very leery of talking when you're like standing in front of them. Like even the ones that couple that I talk to, like talk to them any other time. And it's this big, bold voice, but the closer I get to them, the softer they talk. The laws of the clan are pretty clear. You don't get seen, you don't get heard, da, 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 da. That's why they make the animal noises, even at us, and to communicate with each other, or they'll do the rock clacking or the stick, snapping or hitting the tree with it. It's all communication in a way that is meant for us not to understand. So like when you're out there and you're saying to them, guys, I want to see you, I want to talk to you. I know a lot of people that do that. Once in a while, they'll actually get something back, but it's generally not, hey, I'm right here. They'll hear an animal call. They'll hear a branch break. They'll hear a rock will get tossed over by them, a small rock, just to let them know they're there. They'll communicate in other ways because they really don't want to go against that clan. You have to understand their survival is based on secrecy because our people are not kind. Really, like we are not everybody, so don't take it like that. There's a lot of really good people out there, but basically our people are scum of the earth. Like we kill what we don't understand rather than try to figure it out, understand it, learn about it. We kill it. There was a thing I saw on TikTok today about a guy that supposedly shot a Sasquatch. Whether or not that's true, I don't know. I didn't even stay on it long enough to entertain the idea, but we're not kind. We want to be the big, powerful number one. And the bottom line is we're not. We're just not. And that becomes more apparent every single day. So they are very cautious. So when you go out there and you say, give me a sign, show me a sign, you may get a sign that is so subtle that you don't pick it up. It doesn't mean it's not there. Okay. Case example, I was coming home the other night. My daughter was sick. I had ran into town to pick up some stuff for her and her husband. And I was coming back. It was dark out. And when you go down my road, there's Sasquatch that run up and down my road all the time on the either side. Doesn't mean you see them. It means people have witnessed seeing them, and there's been sightings, or they'll come up behind the back of my yard and come up that way, and they'll go into the backyard. But I'm always telling them, you guys, pop out, say hi, whatever. And I talk to them in mind speak as I go through there. I'm going around the curves because it's all curvy and we have high rock walls on either side. And all I see is this translucent, 3/4 of the body is completely cloaked. One from a little bit above the knee down in the calf and the foot was like translucent, where you could see the muscles flex. You could see the foot as it was running down the road. And all you could see was like 6 inches above the knee, the back of the calf, the foot as it would hit the pavement, flap up, and you'd see the underside of the foot, and then you'd see the next step go down. And I'm like, buddy, either cover it all up or uncover it, but pick one. Like you're stuck halfway. And then you saw this leg just leap up over the embankment. And I kept trying to tell him, make a sound, say something, toss a rock out in the road, something. Nobody did anything, but I saw that. And then as I went up the road on the other side, all I saw was it looked like a line that would have been down the shoulders, the back, and down through the butt. And then I saw the bottom of a foot as one leaped up on the other side. So you get signs, but the point is it's very subtle. Like you have to really stretch to find it. Sometimes they're loud and proud and, like with the horse noise. And it doesn't mean there aren't horses there or moose there. There could be at another time. Do I think there was when you were there? Honestly, no, I do not. When I remote viewed it when you got there, I never saw them. Do I think they've gone through there yet?
There has been no horse footprints. There has been no signs of the horses in that area. No droppings on the ground. Nothing. There's nothing like that. So it is very interesting. Christian and Christina, I want to bring you in here for a quick second as we get about 3 minutes to go before we go to break. When you're in the middle of the forest and you are looking for any signs, what do you pick up on to know if you're in a cryptid area?
That's a good question, but I always look for scratch marks on trees, broken tree branches, inverted trees. Sometimes, and of course, the X formations. Every once in a while, we'll see maybe a pile of rocks that looks like it's stacked up in a very interesting way. But it's hard to tell if those aren't being done by just other people. And again, it's all depending on where it is. If you're 9-10 miles in, you see one of those little rock formations, and looks like it might be pointing to like a water source or something else. It's probably a directional marker that they made. But there's a whole lot of stuff. I mean, it's situational. It depends on what you're looking at. Like in the fall, it's a lot easier to tell if a big boy's gone through just by the twists of the branches or the branch breaking. Every once in a great while, we'll run into a tree that's been ripped out and then put in upside down. And that's usually when we'll find a lot of other stuff, like a nest or something like that. But it just depends on where it is and what time of the year. And realistically in Appalachia, we've got so much leaf litter that we'll get footprints, but it'll be from such a big boy, a big guy running the show, that'll actually indent into the leaves. And we get that too. I mean, but it's just, you have to pay attention to what you're doing. Because I've seen so many people just walk over footprints and things like that. It's like, what are you doing? There's a footprint right there. And it's like, when you point it out and show it, it's like, oh yeah, there it is. And then of course we use the 2 tape measures to get the length and width. But once you do that, people start paying more attention. But a lot, trees will give you a lot of information. I think the scratching on the trees or like the bark being pulled off a certain side, I think it's all communication. Or it's all like, hey, I'm the biggest guy on the block. My scratch is 14 feet up in the air, something like that. But I think if you pay attention to the trees and specifically the softer areas where a footprint can be found. I mean, we found footprints in water, in streams. Think about how much weight it takes to do that. And these are not small. And you got to put the tape measure in the water and everything, but they're still there. So it's just just knowing what you're looking for. And that takes time. That usually takes time.
I definitely get that. And, that's one thing that we do look for is the markings on the trees. Whether it's claw marks or whether, like last year when we had the very close, intense tree knocking, still can't find the tree where that happened. Don't know if it was a fallen tree or don't know if it was a standing tree.
It might have been a log. They brought it with them. You never know.
Never know. Guys, we need to hold on right there. We have one more half hour. Robin Haynes, the Cryptid Gee, the Cryptid Girl. And we're hanging on out, talking monsters on Spaced Out Radio. This is Spaced Out Radio. Your host, Dave Scott. All right, we're good. We are good.
Then there's the people that go out with me and they're like, instead of, when we first started going, like I've got different groups of people that I'll go. I don't go out in the woods with a ton of people, but I do have certain ones that I go out with. And the first time out, they're checking the ground for footprints. They're looking for structures. They're looking in the trees. They're looking all around. After the first time, now they just watch me. Because I have a friend of mine in Michigan that's forever going, I want you to take me out in the woods. Teach me what you do. I'm the most boring person to go out in the woods with because I don't do anything. Like I walk around, but everything talks and everything wants me to go over by where they're at. And so it's very common for me to be walking with somebody and then all of a sudden they turn around. I'm just gone. Like, I'm just gone. I'm not there anymore. Like, it's very normal. If you're out in the woods with me, I will be with you 1 minute. And then it's like pivot and I'm off in a different direction, complete different direction, nowhere near you, going through the brush, like a hot knife and butter. And they're like, where are you going? And the people that have gone out with me before, they just kind of laugh and like, this is normal. Just let her do it. They're over there. They're calling her. She's going to go. She's got to go or they tell her to go. So now they've gotten to where they don't even bother looking for anything. They just watch me to see which direction I'm going to go. I do. It's like, I don't know why anybody would want to go out in the woods with me because I'm never where I'm supposed to be ever. Like if they call me a certain way, I back up, I turn around, I pivot and boop, and I'm off. Or like we'll all be in our cars, we'll get ready to go and everybody will be starting to pull out of the parking lot. Where's Robin? Oh, yeah, she's got her car in reverse, going back in the parking lot, out the door, and darting through the woods over in another different area that's where they told her to go. Oh. And, when I did that one movie about 4 years ago,
I didn't think we were talking about that anymore.
No, we're not. But the thing that was funny is we went out. I told him I don't do anything. Like I'm totally boring. Don't film me because I'm boring as hell. I just walk around. That's all I do. And then they would turn around and I'd be gone. And they're forever looking for me. They didn't know where the hell I was.
So I'm not the only one that's, not always where they're supposed to be.
Yeah, of course, Robin's leave people there to be food. Big old Christian sandwich.
I tell you, the one place they just wanted to pull energy off me all the time, and they wanted energy, and I don't mind pushing it on them. That's fine. But when they get really grabby, where they're going to, even when I'm done pushing it, and they're going to continue to pull and continue to pull and continue to pull, which after a while, it can make you get kind of weak or dizzy or whatever. They wouldn't stop. And I kept telling them, you guys, you got to stop, until they found out they were going to stop, because I turned around and just as hard as I could, I did it really hard and really fast. So it's more like getting shoved than them getting this nice transfer of energy. And they backed it off pretty quick. And I thought if they wanted to do it back, they could send me flying through the air. They didn't. I was lucky. I was like, enough. Okay, just enough. But they'll hijack my car. Like I'll go to my friend Chris's and all of a sudden I'm driving down the expressway and all of a sudden I'm out in the middle of the woods. And I'm like, why? And it always ends up over in the same place. Every frickin' time I go there, I end up in the same place. And I'm like, Simply telling me to come there would have been easier.
I just asked how Chris was doing. I haven't seen him in a while.
Oh, he's doing great. In fact, I was just at his house with him and his wife last weekend. He's doing good. Busy as always, but doing good. We're working on.
I haven't harassed him in a while.
Yeah, say hi for us.
I will. We're working on a project together, and so we had.
His Dogman picture hanging.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. We love it.
Isn't that fantastic? He's really a sweet boy. We've gotten a couple other photos of him, and he's just as sweet as can be. He comes up by Chris's house now too, but we're working on a project, so we're like power working all weekend. So
that's cool. Sweet.
Yeah, he's doing good. He owes me a baby possum, so he's still working on that. He's got all this cat colony that comes in, and he built this room, and all the ferals come in. Well, now all the possums come in and all the raccoons come in. And I want a possum. And one of the females had babies last year, and he was supposed to get me one of the babies, and she took off before he got the baby. So now he's on his mission now is he owes me a possum.
I don't think you can eat those. Those aren't very good.
I don't want to eat them. No, the Sasquatch used to bring them to me. Oh my God, for a year.
Here we go. Here we go with the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. The Cryptid Q&A with Robin Haynes continues on. My name is Dave Scott. And Robin, we are so glad to have you here. Christian and Christina will join us momentarily. We're going to start off with a question from Paramarv here, who is asking, as far as the general public, what is the most misunderstood trait or thing about any species of animal you've come across?
I think the behaviors. People misunderstand the behaviors, whether it's a Sasquatch human hybrid or whether it's an animal. People look at everything from their perspective, not just a third dimensional perspective, but their own perspective. Instead of trying to get within the animal's head, their psyche, understand why they do the things they do, what the intent of it is. Same thing with the Sasquatch. It's like, if they wave their arms at somebody, everybody assumes they're going to, they're trying to rip their heads off. No, they're not. It's not a form of violence at all. It's like with the rocks. If they get a pebble tossed at them, oh my God, they're being violent. No, they're not. That's just letting you know they're there. When you get to the bigger rocks, every size rock means something different. So I think that's a really good question. And I think it has to do with not understanding why, whether it's an animal or a human hybrid, why they do the things that they do and what is meant from it. We automatically go from what we think it means. And that's very rarely is that actually what is going on.
All right, let's get to another one here. Let's go to T-Bone. Robin, have you ever got pushback from Indigenous people?
Do you know what? I never have. In fact, I have been very blessed that the Indigenous people have done nothing but be kind to me. Never have I had any pushback from them. There's a few of them that I've talked to where we've exchanged stories and thought processes, but I don't have a lot of contact with them. I do have contact with them, but they have been nothing but gracious and kind to me. I have a lot of respect for them.
All right, let's get to another one. Let's stick with T-Bone.
Okay.
Considering their size, why is Sasquatch urine not whiffed more?
Do you know? I don't know, because when they've gone to the bathroom and like I've been out there and heard a male going to the bathroom, it sounds like, running water out there. There hasn't been a lot of smell to it. Like I haven't smelled like a really strong urine smell. Is it because they're, they've got water available to them and they drink it and it dilutes it? I don't really know. But I know that when they do some of the arches and they make the arches by using energy to bend it, that's how they bend and don't break. But some of the females will urinate at the base to let the males know which direction to find the females. I know that they do that, but other than that, I really don't know. I haven't noticed that they do that a lot at all.
When you mention it sounds like water, that's funny because that's what Mike heard.
Yeah.
On night one there.
Yeah, it sounds like a faucet. And you have to understand it, their size. Can you imagine the size of bladder, what it can hold? Now, I know there was a female in our woods one time, and she was urinating and defecating, and my son walked back there, and she had an absolute fit. She chased him up to the house. Didn't hurt him, just, chased him probably about 50 feet, and then he took off on his own and came to the house. But apparently she didn't like her bathroom privileges being watched.
Yeah, Christian's the same way.
I know. Well, no, he likes to show his bare butt. Okay, let's be honest.
Yeah,
he flashed it for the hotel.
We know that. Let's go to
The
Joe.
moon was bright. The moon was bright that night.
I will not be.
I tried to stop him. He said he would not be censored.
And he should have been, Christina. He should have been.
I know. I tried.
I know. She tried so hard.
Let's go to Joe here. The Sasquatch activity around my place has been very quiet. Any insights, Robin?
Yeah, there's a lot going on in the cryptid world, in the alien world, and in the world in general. Joe, don't worry about it. They're still checking in and out on you. You're good. They will go at times and disappear for a while. And what happens is we get used to the energy we feel when they're around, even though we don't realize it. Our body gets dependent on it. When they leave, and I've had this happen to myself, you can go through withdrawals and it's miserable. And you don't know why. You just feel off. You feel funky. You don't feel right. You feel agitated, like you're ready to climb out of your skin. And it's because you're used to their energy being around you and then they're gone. I had some of my group gone for 8 months before they were back. I had one that was gone 3 years before he was back. Normally it's short little trips, whether it's a hunting trip, whether it's a training trip. I have one that I work very closely with, and he's, been gone training for some things that he has to do for the clan. So yeah, don't worry about it. They'll be fine. They said that they peek in and on you. So they're not gone for long. They come back and check on things, and then they go, and then they'll be back again. You're all good. They adore him. They do. They think Joe's the greatest thing ever.
All right, let's move on to the next question here from T-Bone. Robin, we already asked you that one. I apologize.
That's all right.
Devin is asking, Robin, do you think they use portals?
I absolutely know it's fact that they do. I know it's fact they do. I've watched them going in and out of them. They've also taught me how to open and close them. And how to spin them. And just for reference, they have to go clockwise. If they go counterclockwise, bad things happen. So all spinning portals go clockwise.
What's your thoughts on portals, Christian?
You know my thoughts on portals are. You're just trying to start a problem here.
Why? What are they? Tell me.
Until I see it, that's it. I just need to see it. If I see it, I'll believe it. It's just one of those things where I've never encountered anything that just kind of portaled out. I've heard things run away. I've heard them come at us. But I've never just seen anything just vanish into nothing.
Yeah. I've seen them go in and out, and then I saw the dog go in and out. I saw my cats go in and out. It's crazy, and I've done work on them, so that was the only reason why I can.
They just decide where they're going to go and open up.
No, well, there's several different portals. There's the kind that are actually anchored, which cannot be moved. They stay in one spot.
They go from one fixed to another fixed place, and that's the only thing.
Yeah,
they do.
it just goes into a different dimension, or it can go to any place that they want. And then there's the kind that they can literally create on their own, and then what they call a rift. A rift is just like a tear in the veil. It's not an actual portal, and I know how to do those too. And it's basically a tear in the veil. They can go in it, and then you can reseal it so nothing can follow them. The only thing I'm not 100% clear on, and they've tried to explain it, and apparently my little pea brain head can't get it, is how do they get where they're going to go once they're within that portal? Now, from what they told me, it's all done through the consciousness. They focus on where they want to go, and that's where they come out at. Now, there are some, and I tell everybody, think of a freeway. You got your on ramp and your off ramp. They go from one place to another. I have one that would go into the portal. I've got a portal that's off the side of my house in the back, and they would go in that, and they would show up at my friends in Texas.
So it'd be
And she would see him.
It's like a transdimensional wormhole.
Yeah, basically. And when years ago, I had gotten contacted by one, and one of the kids in their clan was being attacked by Gugwe, and they couldn't find one of the kids, and they felt the Gugwe were getting close to the kids. So they had contacted me. I located them, and they were like, how do we get them out? How do we get them out? And I'm like, the only thing I could think of to do is open a rift, so I did the rift whole thing, and they went in, and he's fine. In fact, he's an adult now, and he's a royal pain in the butt. But, he is, he gets in more trouble. Oh, I had to do the mom voice on him, Christina. It was ridiculous. But some of these portals are anchored, which means they are not movable. And there's been a couple that they've sent me into that area to close them and shut them down permanently. So then I shut it down. I do certain energy things over the top of it, and they're stuck that way. They can't reopen them because the bad stuff was using them. But then, like I said, there's others I've had. I don't know what created it. Wasn't a Sasquatch, but I had a portal that was like 13, 14 feet up in the air in my front yard, like this open portal. It was weird. And then I watched it when it closed and left. It totally blew my mind. But I've got pictures of portals too, Christian. I showed you that. The one has an ET coming out of it.
You ever showed me that one, huh?
It's got a triangular shaped craft above it, and below it is an open portal. And at the 10 o'clock spot is an ET head. You can see the eyes and the mouth.
You have to resend that one to me, hon. I don't remember.
I'll send it to you. Yep, I'll send it to you.
You might put it on the website.
You can absolutely. I've got also a beam from a ship that comes down in my bedroom. You can put on there too.
Sounds private.
I know. Those times they speak, they pop in. And I've also got all those UFO photos in the video. You can put that up there too.
Okay, yeah.
But you're welcome to them. But anyway, so these portals, they can be put anywhere they want. They can create them. It's all energy and frequency. I keep saying to everybody, and they think I'm nuts. Everything is energy and frequency. If you do your background check on it, you go back on mechanics, it's all going to take you back to the same thing. So, but yeah, the portals exist.
So
I know people
so quickly. They just
what?
Is that how they migrate so quickly?
Yeah.
You don't get a whole lot of reports about them migrating. You ever notice that?
No. Well, number one, they don't migrate.
Yeah.
So that's probably why they do not migrate. Will they go to certain areas? Like if they've depleted the food population there, do they have a second area that they'll go to? Yeah, but that's not a migration. They're doing that to go to the other food source. And then once theirs repopulates, they go back home. Not any different than somebody having a vacation home. There is no actual migration with them.
All right, let's get to another question here. This one coming from, let's see, T-Bone. Robin, when we wonder about UFO disclosure, are they, the cryptids, aware of it?
Very much so. The ETs are actually actively working to control the disclosure because they want it. I think we are going to see a slow increase of it for a number of reasons. It's going to go very slow, but it's going to happen, and people need to be aware of it. As far as the cryptids, they're very much aware of it. They are aware of it because at some point they will be disclosed as well. And there's good and bad into that. Some of them are happy about it. Some of them are not. They feel it's necessary. There is an overall plan of things that need to happen on this planet, and they are all part of it because they are all part of the collective. So yeah, they are very much aware of it.
Very cool. Very cool. All right, let's go to Paramarv here. Robin, if they taught you to open and close portals, have you ever been through one? Would you let Christian go through one to make him a believer?
I have been through one once that the Sasquatch, and I did not, just for the record, I did not know that's what was going to happen. Okay, they told me to put my hand on a bush. That's all I did. And I had to get back home the same way. And I did not know that's what was going to happen. They did try to get me through a portal one other time. And I said to them, you know, are you sure I can come back? Like, I don't know how to work these things. And is this safe or whatever? And that was when they said it is not safe for our people. And the only reason it is not safe for us is regardless of what frequency your body is energetically on, you guys, we all live in a third dimensional body. Okay. That is not who and what we are, but that is what we live in. A third dimensional body is not safe in a portal. The frequency is too high. It affects our body like radiation does. So it is, while it sounds like the cool thing to do and one of the clicks that all the cool kids will do, don't. Just because you can doesn't mean you should. It reacts to your body like radiation. This is why we have researchers that are into the UFO phenomenon and the alien phenomenon and the cryptid phenomenon, and you see that they have multiple illnesses. Okay, this is the part that nobody gets to nobody discloses it because they didn't figure it out for a long time, including myself. You know, I have issues that are probably caused from too much of the frequency. You know, whether or not that's true, I don't know, but it can cause health problems. And when you go through that portal, this is why the ones that use the portals are generally have a much, much higher life expectancy into the hundreds of years, opposed to the ones that stay in the flesh and blood. When they stay in the flesh and blood, they are not in a higher frequency that kills off all the bacteria and all the illnesses. Frequency heals. Okay. When you want to be healed, the best way to do it is through frequency. It's no drugs, it's no nothing. It just heals. It goes to your cells and changes things at a cellular level and puts it back the way it's supposed to be. But when you go and you take a third dimensional body and put it through that same frequency, you know, and you're exposed to it. It's one thing to go through something to heal that way. That's fine. But when you have prolonged exposure that never stops, like going in and out of the portals, being around the Sasquatch at close range, it can do damage to your body, and it reacts to your body like radiation for a third dimensional body. Even the ones that you go up to that have passed away, unfortunately, if you have one of those little detectors that pick up radiation, they will pop even dead, just like they will when they are alive. So take that and figure out how much of that is in the portals that they are creating. That's how they go. That's how they move through them, is that frequency.
All right. Next question, guys. This one comes from T-Bone. This will be our final question of the night. Robin, when do you think the normies might try to understand all of this?
As soon as they raise their frequency to get themselves out of that third dimensional place, the light bulb is going to click on. It always does. I have a ton of clients that have nothing to do with cryptids that just want the energy and frequency work. And as soon as their frequency level gets up high enough, it's like a light bulb comes on in their consciousness, because we think about things in the third dimensional brain. Your third dimensional brain can't accept it. That's why the normies don't get it. They don't think outside that third dimensional brain. When you start thinking or using your collective consciousness, that's when the magic happens. That's when the information starts piling in. That's when the understanding and the clarity for all of it comes in. So get the frequencies up and everything is seen. You get the clarity that you never had before, because everything we think about in a third dimensional brain is basically a lie. The third dimensional world never existed to begin with. It's never going to exist, but it's what we've been taught to believe in as it exists, but it's a fallacy. So when you raise that frequency, it opens the consciousness, and then the truth gets revealed.
Christian, what's your thoughts on that?
I mean, I can't really argue with anything Robin's saying, because, you know, when I start thinking about scientists that have done like, you know, research on time travel, and they're looking into temporal distortion and radiation, the first thing they'll tell you is, you know, that'll end up killing you. You know, so it'd be like the same thing. I look at these things as almost like a Stargate. Like, you know, if they could tamper down the radiation and be like a gate that we could all use, which would be awesome. I'm not saying it's real, but if it would be, you know, it'd be awesome. But I totally believe the fact that it would hurt human beings, because we couldn't take that kind of, you know, temporal radiation, or distorted radiation. I guess you call it temporal radiation, from where it would be. But I mean, that's a whole side of physics we can't even look into because we have no idea even where to start looking into it. So I mean, that's just so far above us right now. I just can't see anyone actually using it to benefit themselves. And if we did get that technology, the first thing they do was, how's this going to work for the military? How's it going to work So I even if they could share it with us, I'm with you. We don't deserve it. No, we don't deserve it. We don't. What do? We destroy everything.
Humans are terrible creatures.
Yeah,
yeah.
I know we've had this discussion before, but it's the same reason why ETs don't want us having, space technology. And what do? We go out, we breed and we destroy. We're no better than bugs.
The same reason that the Bigfoot's tribal rules are that they don't reveal themselves because humans are horrible, horrible creatures in general.
And it wouldn't even be from us. We'd be like the guys you want to know. We're the ones you want on your side because we're the ones that know we're with you. Because 9 times out of 10, if if the 4 of us had the opportunity to say, okay, we can release all this information, all right, instead, and if you can, you'll be some of the richest people on the planet. All right, that's just the way it's going to be. The 4 of us here are probably the only people I can think of, with the exception without Tiny here, who would probably think twice and say, you know what, the money's not worth it. Look at all the damage we could do. We could destroy all this creation. It's not worth it.
We feel very protective of the cryptids.
Well, the thing of it is the downloads that I get, the information that I get given to me, not just from the Sasquatch, but from the aliens and angels and everything else. People have no idea. And I'm not anything special. I'm sure there's other people out there that get it too. But the amount of information that you hold will get you killed. That's the bottom line. Okay. Take it from somebody that's been shot at twice, has had a sniper outside of her window, brakes cut, lug nuts taken out of her car, had ET show up on her door. It will get you killed. And humanity is not ready for a lot of it. And I get asked questions about it all the time. And I'm like, you don't even need to know. You're not vibrationally ready yet. When we are, the information will come out. But everybody gets mad and says, well, we're not getting told this, we're not getting told that. You're not ready for it. A lot of people are. I can't say everybody because a lot of people are. Like I said, I am not anything special. Why in the world they feel compelled to tell me this stuff, I don't know. But a lot of people are, but a lot of people aren't.
All right. Robin Haynes, thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio again. It is always a pleasure to have you here, my friend. We love it each and every time you are on. The Cryptid Guy and Christina from American Cryptid and Paranormal Society. It is always a pleasure to have both of you here as well, who we will talk to next month. And of course, Robin, we get to talk to you next week. So thank you, my dear.
Yeah, I can't wait. I love it here.
Me too. As we say thank you, Robin, Christina, and Christian. And hello to Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal. Rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god himself. Special thanks to everybody listening in at work, at home, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGAP, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on X, hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyrighted by Spaced Out Radio and Bigfoot Broadcasting Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night, but soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night, everybody. All right, we are clear. Guys, I have to run because I have to get ready to get on WABC.
Yeah, good luck. Christian, I'm going to send that stuff to you tonight.
Appreciate it. Robin, big love. Dave, I'm going to listen to it, so good luck. Feel free to drop our names.
Good show.
Yeah, I need to talk to you too.
All right, you want me to call you?
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Bye, guys.
See you guys. We'll talk soon.
I love you guys.
Everybody. Thank you as we say good night to all of you. And quick reminder here. What am I doing? Tomorrow night on the show, David Spinks will join us to talk about his paranormal adventures. It'll be a fun show dipping into the paranormal. Thank you tonight. Excuse me. To T-Bone, Deborah Rooney, Benno, and Little Cam for the super chats. And T-Bone, thank you for gifting a membership. We'll talk to you all tomorrow night, everybody. Have a good night.
Stay healthy, my friend.
You too.
You need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.